Futures extending gains here this morning that we saw come into play yesterday late in the session after Trump does a little bit of a backpedal once again over in Europe at Davos, saying that the 10% tariffs that were planned will not come into effect surrounding Europe after they make a somewhat of a framework apparently on a deal for Greenland. So we'll talk about that coming up. Meanwhile, the overall market liking that heavily in the afternoon. Here we are, gapping to the upside for both the S&P and the Nasdaq ahead of some key economic data coming up this morning, specifically surrounding the economy as well. We'll get a GDP print at 8:30. We'll get PCE data coming up. So both a mix of inflation and also some economic growth data, which I don't know if you remember, but the last one we got was so astronomically high that everyone kind of stopped in their tracks and said, hold on, wait a minute, what? So we'll see if we get some follow through above 5, if you remember, was the forecast on that last print. So we'll touch on that coming up. Intel tonight after the close. We had tech that was really leading this rally to the upside late in the day yesterday. Here we are again, looking pretty good so far.
What a monster Intel has been lately, Brendo. Like 10% days we're seeing. This looks like a small cap, but it really isn't. Good morning, guys. There's a whole lot to talk about this morning. NVIDIA in focus as lawmakers press back against President Trump's desire to export the H200 to China. Apple in focus as well in India. Microsoft kind of pseudo in focus. OpenAI kind of raising more money with a big stake there. Meta getting a price target upgrade from an analyst. And ARM, another day here, high single digits, 5 2/3 in the morning. Netflix as well in focus as the European regulator. This story broke yesterday. Yeah. They want their say on the Paramount Skydance Warner Brothers tie-up. So a whole bunch to talk about.
We've seen a lot of tech deals specifically go through the scrutiny over in Europe and end up getting blocked. Yep. As far as the M&A side of things goes. So we'll see what happens with Netflix and Warner Brothers here. The tone shifted very quickly yesterday when Trump had this press conference, and some headlines came out late in the afternoon surrounding the conversations that he had around Greenland. It was very interesting going into Davos that the tone was more around will he or won't he again? Yep. And overall, the market seemed to think that this time was different when it comes to maybe he'll throw on 10% more tariffs for anyone who tries to get in his way surrounding Greenland. At the end of the day, it ended up being exactly the same. He backpedaled just like he always does.
I think we should change Mark Rutte's name from, Secretary General of NATO to the Trump Whisperer. Because every time President Trump speaks to this guy, he seems to, get on his good side. And apparently yesterday, it was subsequent to the conversation that they had that everything was ironed out. This morning, we got more information that Greenland is interested or, well, obviously, interested in joining the Golden Dome, so to speak. President Trump had a press conference very early this morning to do with the, what is he calling that? The Council of Peace?
The Board of Peace?
The Board of Peace.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of people this morning. President Trump gave, I think, the keynote to start making more pronouncements there. So no shortage of variables, Brendo, off which to work.
The tactics, I guess, or the way he goes about negotiating these deals has not changed. No, clearly. No, he leads with the sledgehammer, and then ends up somewhere, where everyone seems to be happy.
Why does this surprise everybody?
Every single time.
Every single time.
This is what I'm trying to get to. It seems like such a shock every single time, but here we are once again. Anyway, market likes it. Tech specifically, small caps specifically, liking this once again, guys. Lots to come this morning. Again, 8:30 economic data, 10 o'clock as well. We'll bring that to you live. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's kind of an everything is up kind of morning here. Like I look at the old quote board. Yeah, okay. So oil a little bit, and obviously UVXY. Not the strongest day for crypto. I think that kind of remains lagging a little bit. And then again, a couple of energy names like gold is flat, but pretty much everything else, you're just gaps to the left of them and to the right of them. The Chinese ADRs are up. All the chip names are up. Heck, I don't even know why I have GME still on this thing. It's old school that don't change. Yeah, there was, well, I mean, maybe it will be in play. Who knows? We have Elon's going to be speaking at Davos. He wasn't expected to, but he's going to be speaking at 10:30 to 11. I have a sneaky suspicion he won't move the markets like the president, but he can move his own stock. You never really know. Like, let's be real. He has said things in the middle of the market which have moved Tesla stock in the past. So you just, if you're looking at Tesla today, you're trading it, understand for that half an hour, we'll keep our ears to the ground to see what the CEO has to say. Maybe he'll be talking about Tesla. Who knows? He could be talking about anything at this point. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. I mean, we got the turnaround yesterday. So with the exception of, I say crypto lagging a little bit, and things are looking pretty bullish here. So kind of switching some gears with the exception of, unfortunately, Bitcoin. It's at 90K, but it's not participating the way everything else is.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think Intel would be in focus today.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many upgrades. Palantir got one, or cover initiated at a buy. So did Google. Micron as well, looking at 400. That will be a spot here today. Like, looks like it's going to break. I have it written down as a breaking, to go long when it breaks. I mean, I feel like it's going to break in the pre-market. I don't necessarily want this in the pre-market, so when it breaks, we'll have to relook at that. But Micron there today, it's on our sticky note and on our watch list. Make sure you catch that. Trading higher in the pre-market after William Blair initiated coverage on the stock. Some sort of a RAM super cycle. Really? I mean, yeah, a little late to this one there. But yeah, and then you know what? Respect to Ryan Cohen with GameStop. I mean, this guy came out and he's basically said, if I'm going to be the CEO of a company, I need to support it by buying the stock. We have written down here, purchase 500,000 shares. I thought it was 1 million shares. Maybe it's just was 500,000, and then he had another tranche at one point. But at the end of the day, he's putting his money where his mouth is, and there it goes up to $23 early when that was announced, and then we're coming back in just a little bit right here. So I think GameStop needs to be traded today for sure. So we'll have to look at GameStop. And, we always look to say when there's a gap, play back to VWAP. But right now, VWAP's there. We got $22 or so as our 200-period moving average. Why not take a shot there with GameStop? We haven't looked at, we look at it, but we don't really focus on it too much anymore. GameStop, just because with the short float, I think it was like in the teens still. Yeah, it's a 16% short right there for GameStop. So their earnings date is, not for a while, March. So March 24th. So we got a while before anything happens with GameStop. But yeah, it looks like a 16% short float. Creeping higher here today, up 3% as Ryan Cohen puts his money where his mouth is. And we'll see if this guy shows up at some point today. Not AMC, I don't think AMC.
Yeah, I bet you that's not even up anything, I guess.
AMC? No, probably be diluted again, probably.
Percent. What a fantastic looking stock that is. We have an IPO. There's an IPO today. On a better note, Shreve was mentioning to me. There's a couple of big ones coming up. There's a big one tomorrow. Well, size-wise, anyways. In theory, tomorrow. But this BitGo, BTGO. Yeah, I saw that one, BTGO. So BitGo Holdings. It's only 230 million. What are we doing? It's priced at 15, 17. Looks like it's gonna be 18 as the price is what I'm seeing. Kind of when I pull up to level 2. You're not gonna see anything for data, but what you can look at is a little bit later on. Here we go. Equipment share is supposed to be 900 million, so almost $1 billion, and it's expected tomorrow. It's kind of a weird day. You don't usually see Friday for IPOs, and then next week there's a couple that are at that 500,000 mark. So PicPay and then Yellowstone for next week at the end of the week. So IPO market's coming back into play, and that's what it's all about. Like certainly the deals, we talked about this with Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, how things are going really well or relatively better for those banks with regards to deal making and trading. The Warner Brothers deal is going to be pretty lucrative for the banks involved in that. Hey, the bankers make $180 million regardless of who ends up with Warner Brothers. Whether it's really true. No matter how this plays, $180 million they're going to be able to grab. So when deals happen, when IPOs happen, it's a good environment for them. Netflix will be on the mind the day after. Maybe even some Warner Brothers if it dips low enough. I wouldn't mind picking that up around the 20. If it gets down close to 28, I feel like there's a new range and it's been holding the bottom around that 20, like a couple of big dip buys. So I'm sitting there in the quarters and at 28, 25, and this one comes down. I want to get long there, maybe still short that 28.8, 29 area on Warner Brothers, but if it's going to sit there and put in like 1.5%, 2% ranges, it's going to be tradable on that deal. So there's a lot to look at, a lot to cover for sure, but feeling pretty bullish so far.
I don't know why Netflix shareholders will, or why Warner Brothers shareholders would accept a Netflix deal, honestly, at this point when Paramount's offered 30, Netflix is offering 27.75. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but at the end of the day, it looks like it's something. So Netflix off earnings gets into that level. Now you're up a little bit today. I expect maybe a little bit of a drop down here. I just saw the note that Paramount board is obviously recommending their deal over Netflix. But I mean, it's $2.25 more. So I'm not sure. If I was a Warner Brothers shareholder, I would be voting for the Paramount one and strike down this Netflix. But who knows? We'll get that all figured out for you guys. Again, you know, Nasdaq up 0.8. We were up 1.2 or so yesterday at close, so almost making back everything that we had lost over the last couple days. So that was our last one day, I guess. We had it on, what day is today? Tuesday, I guess, because we had, oh yeah, that's right, we had Monday off. So if you're just going to zoom in a little bit here into the futures and just have a quick look, like that was a nice little drop downside right there. And now we're going to open up a little bit higher here on the NASDAQ today into the 625 area on the Qs, I believe, right? So unfortunately, this E-signal chart, I got it, yeah, 621. So, you know, you're almost all the way here trying to cover this. And then if we break out through 630, then it might be go time. All-time highs here on the NASDAQ, 635. So we're moments away from, again, what should be another decent day here on the markets, starting with the NASDAQ and, you know, up 0.8, ES up 0.53. And it looks like Donald Trump and company are not going to ease back on this 10% cap. I mean, Joe Kernan tried to ask him about this yesterday on Squawk, and he was like, no, man, Americans are paying way too much on that side of things. 28%. He was really, really upset with that. So the, you know, the Bank of the People, apparently, this is Bank of America is what they call this thing, you know, really crushed over the last little while, same as JP Morgan and some of these banks. Neil gave a good bull case for why we may want to get into some of the banks with the IPOs and some of the merger and acquisitions that have been happening lately. But $57 down to 52, like if this gets sorted out and maybe it's just all, you know, let's get a framework like we did on Greenland. Maybe we can get a framework for some of these credit card fees. This could be a buy down to $50. So we'll have to wait. That's 51 is right there. So from 57 down to 51, I mean, you're going to get a 15% discount here on some of these bank stocks. I think that's probably worth picking something up here as we continue to drift lower. It's the same story on JP Morgan. As high as 330 and change. You're down to 303. So kick off $30 from this thing, and you're back down 10% looking for a buy zone. So I think you're getting close here where we can start to look at some of the banks and then just figure out what exactly is going on with that 10% cap there. So. I don't know. That's interesting things to trade today. SMR could be back in play. SMR popped off yesterday, then went down. Now it's a little bit higher here today again. So, yeah, Elon should be interesting. I don't think that's going to be with Larry Fink or something.
Yeah, he's just talking with Larry Fink.
Yeah, so they're just probably like a fireside
out of
chat
nowhere.
or something.
It's really his wild card factor because like the 3 or 4 times, and it's over the last few years, 3 or 4 times that he's happened to be talking during the markets open, and then sometimes he'll just say something a little bit off about Tesla that, hey, it's like, what? Can't just say that. It's overvalued, funding secured, like that kind of a thing. So you never really know how it plays out with Elon. A couple of small cappers moving around here. Just saw this penny stock, HCTI, pop up on volume. I don't know if you like this one, Sharif. It's 50 cents. But the big volume spike here, I haven't seen the volume. Oh, there it is. Now I see it. Looks like Healthcare Triangle signed an agreement with Tamine. Forecast to generate $38 million in incremental revenue. I mean, look, when you're a penny stock, $38 million is probably a decent amount of revenue, but that's the spike in this particular small capper. There's always a bunch. And you were talking about how there's all kinds of upgrades and downgrades today. There's a whole like swath of them. QBTS, so the quantum names, I mean, you know, maybe not having the best of days yesterday. Pull up a chart of Rigetti, QBTS. Yeah, pretty nasty, 28 to 25. It was down over 10% from the highs. But they got Needham reiterating a buy and maintaining a $48 price target on QBTS. A little bit aggressive there, Needham, but these guys catching up great. It was really nasty for the quantum names, in particular yesterday. There was a few. I mean, everything rallied after, like, later in the day, but there's a bunch of stuff that kind of broke out and looked really strong into the close, and then, like, you got a decent relief rally on Rigetti, but this is still almost $2 from where we were sitting at the open yesterday. So, If they're trying to come back here, they're going to be in play. Anything that had volatility, it's going to be a lot of opportunity to trade today, because I really think you're going to have a nice volatile day in terms of opportunities out there. And this was a miss, because I think, you know, I liked crypto, or I liked Bitcoin yesterday, most of the day for the short trade, but it was a real miss how much quantum was moving around. So I think Rigetti, QBTS, IonQ, if you're looking for some momentum, can't see them staying too still here today. Though they're probably more up Sharif's alley, because he has a thing against penny stocks. I don't know what it is. Penny stock traders got to eat too, Sharif.
Trade, Neil, man. There's four different, you know, decimal spots after that you can post sell orders. I just feel like they're thickly traded south of the dollar. Yeah, and I took your idea from a while back, you know, filter my scanner by 85 pennies so I can see the ones making their way onto the dollar. That's kind of just my wheelhouse there. I don't know. Every time I trade these sub $1 stocks, Brendo, I don't do all that well.
I mean, it's a different world entirely. I was just reading some more of these comments, guys, coming through on from Paramount Sky on this Warner Brothers thing. I mean, it's not really causing any kind of movement, but Warner Brothers board continues to withhold highly, quote unquote, highly material information. Paramount Sky, Warner Brothers rushing to solicit holder approval for the Netflix bid, as we know, or shareholder approval for the Netflix bid, as we know is already underway. I was reading a little bit about this a couple of days ago, trying to get a better understanding of why, as the guys were just saying. And the only real thing that stood out to me was the debt. The Netflix offer is actually less debt involved, leveraged at a lower rate, versus Warner Brothers Sky, which was more debt, leveraged at a higher rate. But that was really it. And then the other thing that a couple of analysts were pointing to was simply the Netflix market domination in the space already is a better path for continued growth for shareholders on that side. When all is said and done. Anyways, I mean, it's, you know, 300 and something billion versus 12, the market cap, you know, if you compare them one to one. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider.
And 325 million users, as they reported yesterday.
Exactly.
So yeah, I can completely see if you're looking to kind of hold on to your legacy assets, whatever that they've got over there, I don't even follow. But yeah, obviously a lot more eyes on Netflix. Separately, you know, you were talking about the Paramount Skydance being a bit aggressive, trying to find out why the board chose what they chose. So basically, they're trying to front run the discovery process, from my understanding of the whole thing, where typically these type of things would come out in the lawsuit, if there was going to be a lawsuit, as to why the board decided what it decided, because then you would basically ask them for documentation on that and be able to question them on that. But they're trying to front run that. They're trying to get it ahead of the actual discovery phase of the lawsuit, which should be interesting. Separately, we saw yesterday some possible tension between the co-CEOs, Sanderos and the other guy. So lots of different things going on between those three companies.
I think one thing's for certain, this is going to take a while to come to an actual conclusion. This is, if you want to jump to this chart there, Andre, this is the 10-year. Jump over to some of the rates here, moving back to the upside. We had a quick reversal yesterday. This is a daily chart. We had a quick reversal yesterday as sentiment changed, equities started to rally. Everything seemed fine, but we are seeing a little bit of a bounce back here on the long end of the yield curve. Once again, the 10 and the 30 back to the upside. But I mean, this is better part of 20 basis points here over, you know, or 0.2, you know, over the past 3 days to the upside, which we haven't seen in a long, long time. This thing's been stuck in a range for 3-4 months.
Exactly, and I was just going to point to that on the chart. Great call, Brendo, because we broke through that 4.2% area where we had been absolutely trading below since, I believe, the September, early September. That 4.2, 4.175 was a bit of a top. We break through that and break through it quite decidedly. So let's see if the support acts as resistance. That 4.2 is, as I mentioned, basically resistance since early February, finally taking it out there.
And why do I say this? And here's why. Because coming up at 8:30 this morning, we're going to get a look at GDP. So we'll get to Q3 final print here for GDP. Prior on this reading was 3.8%. The forecast above 4.3%. It was the, I forget what survey it was an Atlanta survey that came out going back a couple of weeks ago, that in that region of the US, they were looking at 5.2 was the projected forecast for this quarter. So we'll see how this comes out this morning. Again, 3.8 is the quarterly number expected, or the prior. 4.3 is the forecast. We'll see what that comes out at 8:30. We're also going to get jobless claims at 8:30, and then coming up at 10 o'clock, we get the monthly PCE reading, the quarterly PCE reading coming at 8:30 this morning as well. So a little bit of a shift.
Well, it really is catching my attention are these strong GDP growth numbers. Typically, they're accompanied by some inflation. And we really haven't been seeing that yet. So, and we didn't really see the tariff tantrum inflation from back on, what do you call it, Liberation Day.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen that print. Even if it was to be a one-off print, because you're only going to get that one-off increase as a result of that headline tariff number. But we haven't seen either. So, I mean, are we kicking the can down the road? At some point, inflation has to correlate with GDP growth. You can't have GDP growth and no inflation.
And is that why, you know, we're seeing some of these yields on the long end, you know, start to creep back higher once again? So the two very correlated. Again, 8:30, guys, we'll get that GDP print coming up.
Yeah, 100%, and we'll see how that takes the market. I feel like the headlines yesterday were going to be a bit of a bigger deal. But what I like about this, if you're talking about bullishness, is how asleep the VIX got and how awake we are now that we got Randy back in the house. What's going on, brother?
Yes, winter's back.
Winter's been back. That's the only downside. Although it's a little warmer today than it was before. No, what I was going to say is, we're back to nice resting slumber in that little mini spike in the VIX. Like remember when we were sitting there at 20, it's like, yeah, well, don't freak yourself out. Like, don't even start the beginnings of freaking out until this gets into like the 25 range. Like, I think you start retesting where we got to in November and then the October shock. And if we get higher and break that out, then you've got legitimate concerns, and then you're probably starting to want to play volatility a little bit. But yeah, right back into the mid-teens, chilling out, like we're absolutely fine. But the one thing, and this will be an interesting. I think this is an interesting test. It's going to be Bitcoin, because like the fact that we're over 90,000, I'll give it like a muted win. Like we just keep making these higher highs and rejecting them every single time. But we're making higher lows too. Today, if we hold 90K, can we do anything with it is the real question. And if the opening rush doesn't hold the 90,000 level in here, then this is like the one short on my list. Like, it's just like Bitcoin. Yeah, if we lose 90K in the first 15-minute candle, I can't see just favoring the short all day. Like, it didn't, like 2 days with the huge gap down, and then obviously 2 days ago was a good trend down. The trend break of the slight up move yesterday was phenomenal, and then it came right back to that top, but you're still underneath that same high. Like, if we can't break this out, then there's only one way to go. So yeah, the bullishness is maybe limited to just about everything that's not crypto related, but that could change. If we break 54.1 on IBIT and we're pressing 91, then I'm on board, because there's a huge gap to be filled, but until it presses through that high. That one's not going to be on the list. SMCI, though, already broke 33. That'll be. This is like this one. It's not going to. I don't think it does an Intel kind of day, just because it's got some obvious resistance. But this is going to be a close above the 50 period for the first time in a while, and a clean breakout. You can see on the 15-minute through 33. As long as it can hold these tops through the open, looking long on SMCI. I haven't said that in a while.
Yeah, I wanted to just quickly look here. For me too, it's very, very bullish day, man. I don't have anything. I don't have any shorts, but I do like what Neil was talking about there. I put here full bull mode right now. I mean, President Trump came and sort of waved the white flag sort of on his aggressive stance, it seems like. We'll see if it changes today. But Google, man, let's take the break. Let's take the dip. Let's take the Micron break. Let's take the Palantir break. Let's look at the Qs. That should be 5250. 52.50, yeah, my bad, I have to change this. It's 52.50, not 52, to 53 longs. GameStop long, right? So, I mean, we have some good ideas here today, and I think we're going to try to work with them. And yeah, you know, it's just one of those things where when you're looking around at the market, I still have the bank stocks here. There's going to be stocks that are in, you know, uptrends versus downtrends. A stock like an Intel right now, ahead of earnings, I still want to look at it. But I think on the day of earnings, a little different. With Elon coming through today as well, that could be a little different for that stock. But, you know, the story remains the same here. Apparently this AI stack that Google has is just, you know, they're something that's different than the rest. Meta's still down 18%. Microsoft's down 18 to 20% as well. This Mag 7 name is carrying the day, and I think it can carry through this 340. I wouldn't be surprised if we can get to 340 today. I don't think that's even that far away. Up 1.8%. I think Google continues to run. But yeah, as far as the short is concerned, I don't really have anything. I mean, Palantir hasn't. I know I have Palantir as an upgrade today, or sorry, as initiated buy. Is it initiated buy or an upgrade? It's a buy. Yeah, so just initiation. But this has been pretty weak lately, so this is the one that maybe I'm not as in love with, but I don't mind the 170 look there as well. But today's segment is brought to you by Electrocore Inc., traded on the Nasdaq under the ticker ECOR. Electrocore is a commercial stage bioelectric medicine company using non-invasive neuromodulation to address chronic pain, headache, and wellness conditions. The company recently reported record revenue, guided approximately $30 million for full year 2025, and strengthened its balance sheet following the integration of Neurometric and its Quell platform. With high margin recurring revenue, growing VA and consumer channels, and a clear path towards improved cash flow, Electrocore is positioning itself at the intersection of medical technology and wellness innovation. To learn more, visit electrocore.com or follow the company under ticker ECOR. Scan that QR code for more information from Electrocore. We want to thank them for sponsoring this segment. We want to thank Randy as well.
Yeah,
you showed up.
Got the refill here.
For the coffee.
I'm gonna grab that breakfast.
Yeah, he brought the it's that shashuka again today. So we gotta go grab some of that as well. So there it is. All right. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get we're pretty bulled up here today, looking for some good opportunities. Let us know in the chat. Are you guys? Why don't we do a poll? Just bullish or bearish? How about that? Bullish or bearish?
80%.
I think it'll be high. My only thing about the bears is you're at some levels here, yeah, where we could begin to fall back. I just think bullish or bearish from here. Why not? You know, the Nasdaq's going to open up 1%. Are we bullish or bearish? Do we think we can close under or below whatever these markets open up as today? Just because we're bullish so far, right, doesn't necessarily mean that this market will continue that way. I think that's a fair early poll that we can put up and get a little bit of voting happening there. So I think bullish is going to be winning that, but let's see. It could be more than 80%. All right, let's go back over the desk. It's 8:30. We're excited, man. It's Thursday. It's a shortened week, so that's the one thing today.
Yeah. So if you're an energy trader, usually on a shortened week, some of the data gets moved around. Okay. So if you happen to be looking at oil, not a lot of people trade oil, I don't think. Inventories is at noon today. Usually it's like 10:30 on a Wednesday, but on a holiday shortened week, not only is it today, but it's also at a different time. So you'll get oil inventories at noon, which is a bit different. Not going to move the market per se, but obviously you can get some shock there if you happen to be trading oil futures. So polls up. Let's see what everyone has to say. I'm going to go.
Yeah, it's pretty much 80%.
It is 80%.
Yeah, it's 80,
79.
80, with 180 votes right now already.
Get 'em.
Look, I know I talked about this yesterday, and we got maybe 100 new members yesterday. I hope all of you guys have gotten this sheet. This is 15 pages today. It starts with NVIDIA. It starts with Apple. I mean, every single one of these discussions has a whole page, support and resistance levels, what you need to know about it. Like, just be much smarter than you were before you read this. Like, everything you want is right here. Trader takeaways. Oh, Alphabet got upgraded. What exactly does that mean? Who the hell's Raymond James? Get all this stuff right here. Get the trader takeaways right here. What are the targets we're looking for? The meta pullback, like Intel. And it's not just tech, although it seems like, okay, where is it? There's Netflix versus Paramount, the whole discussion here. Here's Alibaba. The GE Aerospace is here. Like, whatever you're looking for. FCX, everything. P&G, Procter & Gamble, it's all here. So you might be saying, Sean, you know what? Like, this is such an incredible piece of literature. So how do I get involved?
Literally.
This is what people are asking. People are asking this, Neil. Like, this is the whole thing, getting tweeted at it. How do they get this note. This is Sharif's morning note.
Shockingly
and the thing,
easy, everybody.
And the thing is, like, it's just so easy to get it. So for those of you that are members, you're going to show up in the chat as green. Hello. You hit this join button. When you hit this join button, for $5, does this say per day? No, this is per month right there. So you're getting this for $5 a month. Not only that, the note's going to make you much smarter, but you're going to have a lot more fun putting these emojis in here. Like when you don't know what to do, you can go, you can use this guy. But the morning note, anyways, all kidding aside, guys, grab that right now for $5 a day. And I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. You get to read all that. It's just good reading, whether or not you're going to use it to formulate a position. It's going to give you an opinion. It's going to give you an educated one.
Allows you not to trade blind and know what the news is. We'll go to Brendan and find out how GDP has gone.
Ooh.
Just getting this print here, guys, 4.4%, so higher, 4.4% on the final Q3, quarter over quarter GDP print there. Again, the prior was 3.8, 4.3 was expected, comes in 4.4%. Initial jobless claims just out there as well, a little bit of an uptick, 200,000 versus 195,000 expected, 1.84 on the continuing claims, that's down. Week over week, 1.88 was the forecast there. Core PCE, this is a quarterly number, 2.9% versus 2.9% expected, exactly in line. GDP sales, 4.5 versus 4.6%, slight downtick. Again, coming up at 10 o'clock. Core PCE is the monthly number, but again, the market going to be focused, I think, mostly on this growth data point coming through here. Again, the GDP price index quarter over quarter in line with expectations, 3.7% versus 3.7 expected. 4.4 though, the headline number there for Q3.
This is ridiculous. I mean, I wish we were growing at this rate on this side of the border, but this is very strong, guys. Another 4+% print. We got 5.3 or 4 last time. Another beat here, and the continuing claims, Brendo, as you brought to us, minus 26,000 down to 1.8. So showing the job market not all that weak. By the way, the January 10th, jobless claims were revised down to, revised to 199,000. So great strength, but you're seeing a lot of these great top line numbers. Maybe the sentiment though in the economy is still more K-shaped. And we're seeing that a lot with airlines, aren't we? Yeah. Right? Think about what we saw yesterday from UAL, where they're selling more. There's more actual people growing in first class or business class as opposed to what's being done in economy. So it would make more sense for you to make more profit off it. But the fact that you're growing that top line number, not just the profitability, is really reflective, I think, of that end. So here we are.
Yeah, not a massive response there from the futures. We did get a bit of a downtick initially. We are pushing back higher right now, but again, if you're just joining, final Q3 quarterly GDP print there, higher than expected, 4.4%. 4.3 was the forecast. The prior, guys, 3.8 should help things out here today.
Yeah,
it kind of went down and then back up. And
the other thing too is like the jobs numbers were like the initial, the continuing claims came in a little bit lower, so that's pretty good. And sometimes when you have that strength, we kind of see it as, well, Fed's not going to do anything. We already know they're not going to do anything. That doesn't necessarily move the needle. And obviously, there's some that would probably want some weakness in the job market to start to continue to show. Like the fact that you show a little bit of uptick in strength there, I think maybe sometimes we get that good news is bad news kind of feeling. But we haven't moved enough to be reacting that way just yet. I mean, what do we go? We went like 20, 30 cents down on the Qs here. Let's be real for a second. So the reaction early is going to be muted at the end of the day. Ultimately, I think headlines are going to drive us more. Earnings are going to drive us a heck of a lot more. We got Freeport with a small beat this morning. We'll get Intel after the bell tonight. And next week, it gets a little heavy on the earnings front, because that's going to matter a little bit more than data coming in in line. But that's a strong GDP number. Sharif chuckling about how we do in Canada, but if you're invested in the U.S., then it's all good.
Yeah, I mean 4.4% is a great number there. It shouldn't scare the market if anything other than that. All right, we want to say a big thank you. We got 4 members there. Thank you for everybody who's got it. Let me know in the chat what you think, because I know there's a lot of you that joined yesterday. We want to thank Chetan Kalani. Thank you so much for joining. Buzzy Monkey, I like that name. Smokin' MoMA 420. That's, you know, good luck with that one. Uncle Jesse 80s there as well. And, you know, this smoking thing here, I mean, that's another sector that, and I could, you know, you mentioned 420 there in the chat. I'm sure there's going to be, you know, some talk about some of that at some point. I was just wondering, is this the next thing? I mean, Donald Trump yesterday talked about housing. There we saw Fannie and Freddie moving around a little bit there yesterday. This is another one of those, you know, they've reclassified, he signed some executive orders and whatnot. We'll have to see what winds up happening with this marijuana space, but looks like MSOS here, still waiting for that $5 break. So you want to talk about a sector that is very going to be news catalyst and, you know, ear to the ground. So I don't think in Davos or anything they're going to be talking about cannabis, but this is an interesting look here as well, holding this 50-period moving average. I was actually looking to think about like what sectors might be part of the run in 2026. We always think the marijuana space is something to look out for, but you know, just holding this 440 actually looks pretty good, man. The 50 period starting to sort of inch up a little bit here. MSOS. The thing about a lot of these names, the Tilrays, the CGCs, there's Trulieve, there's like a bunch of different names that are provide different value in this space. So you got to understand, you know, which ETF holds which and where to go for this game. But yeah, I was looking at this not too long ago. The structure looks pretty good, man. Trying to base out here and hold. So you're looking for a break one way. So if you're thinking long right now in the cannabis space, you do have a decent bottom here of, believe it or not, like 420.
Of course it's 420.
You know, so like that's pretty much close to where this 50-period moving average is. So we'll see if that's a thing or not at some point. But yeah, MSOS, lots of names in focus. It's not just a tech-driven market. You know, actually I didn't look at GE too much today, right? But they came with that report.
GE Aerospace.
Yeah, and then, yeah, not GEV. And then they're down 4%. Looks like they want to tick a little bit lower here. That could be a good space. And then the other name would be Procter & Gamble. This has been on a little bit. Like, this hasn't been a great run, but this has been a decent run for Procter & Gamble off the bottoms of 138. So now you're coming back into 144 again for P&G. So Procter & Gamble, I actually really like this company. I like the space a lot. And I like the fact that this is one of those names that is not near its all-time high right now. So you do have some give up in Procter & Gamble over the last year. So potentially now with earnings through, we'll see if it can hold the 50-period moving average at 144 or so for P&G.
Yeah, and it is Thursday, and on Thursday sometimes we have a special guest, and I see a lot of people in the chat talking about a certain mover, SXTP. I have a sneaky suspicion that our good friend Luis, who we're going to throw to in just a second, might be looking at that name as well as it approaches 75 million shares pre-market. Let's get to the desk. We have Luis from Barcelona. Talk about some small caps.
Yeah, let's get a look at some of these crazy movers. There's been so many over the past few sessions just this week and then going back to last week as well. So a lot of people with a lot of options here as far as small caps are concerned. Whenever you're ready, Andre, bring them in. And we'll get a look at this sector of the world. Good to see you, Luis. Happy Thursday here. Seems to be a positive one to start things off. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's quite positive. We have a lot of runners. We have a lot of volatility. We have a little bit bad news for the small caps and for the short sellers because locates are very, very expensive these days.
And let's touch on that a little bit because I saw a lot of people complaining about that yesterday when it came to some of the ones that were moving around yesterday. For anyone who's hearing that maybe for the first time, why don't you just run through exactly what that means and why it could be a little bit of a challenge?
Well, locate means the possibility to go short. I mean, to go short, you're selling something that you don't own, so the broker usually give it to you in order that you sell it and you buy it back and in order to give it back during the day. So the point is, first of all, huge volatility, small caps with very tiny float and volatility and a lot of gappers. And it's also true that we are having this hype on the short selling in the small caps. So more and more traders are asking for dislocate, so the price goes up. If volatility goes up and the demand offer is not balanced, the price goes up because the brokers want to make more money on the short side, of course. So it's part of the business. It's good, but some days, like today, we have like this SXTP, that expensive. It's not a word. It's impossible to locate these ones because it's very, very expensive. So we cannot go short on this one. It's a pity.
When you're in that situation, there's a desire, I guess, from a trader standpoint too. Well, if I can't go short, maybe a long is somewhere in the mix here today.
Absolutely. This is one of the most typical mistakes. The FOMO, you want to go short. You see, you could have made money going short, so you go long. So you make two mistakes on the same pattern. So it's just self-control, discipline. It's what it takes.
Yeah, know what your strategy is, know what works, and stick to that. I mean,
if you go short and you lose money following your plan, that's fine. You're dumb because you lost money, but at least you follow your plan. But if you also lose money on the long side, which was not your plan, not only did you lose money, that you can blame only yourself. So it's big mistake.
All right, a lot of individual names to get to. Sharif here beside me has something for you this morning.
Good morning, Luis. Great to talk to you again. We trade the same type of names, but I think we go different ways. I feel like you're short focused. I focus more on the longs. But I want to ask you, Luis, I want to kind of expand my portfolio, my repertoire, and try to take some of these one short. Do you have some ground rules, Luis, that you look at for the short setup on these small cap gappers?
Yeah, listen, I understand you go long, but looking into the small cap world, percentage and data says 67, 69% of the small caps that gap up over 20%, they close red after the opening bell. So that's your edge. That means that you can go and you should go short on each ticker? No, of course. You have to avoid this 30% that not only close green, but it runs a lot. So it's not that you will win 67%, it's how much you win when you win, how much you lose when you lose. So first of all, if you look for longs, let's say you have to be more selective. You have to really pick the right name, which is going to run because of the float, because of the news, because of the country, because of the institutional ownership, VWAPs or whatever. But you really have to pick the good one. On the short side, you have to pick the right moment because most of them will fade during the day. It's just about picking the right moment with the right risk reward.
That's excellent. Thank you for that. Kind of what I was really trying to get to, Luis. So I have just two ground rules for the long. It has to be trading above the volume weighted average price, and it has to be above the pre-market high in a general sense. Do you have anything like that? Very specific, technical looks that you're looking at, or it looks like maybe you're looking more mean reversion off some of these small caps. Am I kind of getting that correctly?
Well, let's say if you look at the long side, we're looking the short side. So we don't short front side anything which is above VWAP because you go long above VWAP, and we don't go short front side over pre-market high. So with this triangle of open, VWAP, and pre-market highs, if it's above everything, you go long. I don't go short front side. In order to go short, you have to see lower highs. And if it's trading below pre-market highs or below VWAP, it's more confirmation to pyramid the position in your winner side. So we probably will look for the same things. You just look for the other part of the knife, but it's safe on both sides.
Thank you very much, Luis. Great to talk to you, Brenda. All right, let's get into a few individual names here. Lots to rip through, Luis. IOTR, a few people were mentioning early on this morning, it is starting to fade. Speaking of that VWAP area, give me your thoughts here to start things off. IOTR.
It's very simple to analyze this one. We don't have locates. We cannot go short on this one. It's like something like $40 per 100 shares. So we cannot trade this one on the short side. We will trade long side only if it holds above VWAP and it tries to fight the pre-market highs as we just talked about. So no short on this one. If it fights the VWAP again, we will look for a long with a very, very tight stock. But very likely we will not be able to trade this one.
Just real quick on the locates conversation. So something like $40 fee to short 100 shares of a specific stock. For anyone, again, who maybe is hearing this and saying, what on earth are these guys talking about? How is that set? Where does that price come from?
It comes from, first of all, offer and demand. How many traders want to short this stock? If there are thousands of traders asking for thousands of shares to short this one, the broker will say, okay, pay me more. That's the first thing. The second thing is the float. If we have very low float and high institutional, that means the offer of these shares are very low and the demand is higher because the trade is going to want to go short. That's the first. And the second one is volatility. Look at the stock. It has moved a lot. So the brokers thinks, okay, the traders, if they go short, they're going to have a home run on this one, so I'm going to charge them a lot. So usually, look, another example that we are shorting is HCTI. We short this one just in front of the dollar. We pay for this one like $0.1 per 100 shares, which is nothing. It's almost free to locate. So this is the difference.
All right, HCTI, yeah, penny stock. Lots of penny stocks popping up. What else is on your list here this morning?
HCTI, as I said, we short this one on the 85.90 cents. And also we are looking NITO, as you can see here. This is an Israel company. It's only 1.4 million float. We already short this one, as you can see here. Sorry, I'm going to maximize this. We already short this one against the $3 round number. Okay, we short here against these pre-market highs. We shorted against here until it lost VWAP. Now we are waiting for this trade again. You can see here we call this at the VWAP rejection. The stock has gone up a lot. It has gone down a lot as well. So we're just waiting for a push to the VWAP to short this one for all day fade, very likely. So waiting again for another pop to 250 to 60 to short this stock.
What would you say is maybe the percentage of entries on these types of ideas that you're taking early on in the pre-market versus after the open?
You know what happened for the last maybe 6 months? Every trader and every algorithm is moving to the pre-market. Every day is earlier and earlier and earlier. In real trading, we can trade from 6 in the morning New York City time to the open market and after, of course, but 6 in the morning is the earliest we can trade. I have already asked to head office, please widen these options because many traders are trading 4 a.m. New York City because it's like a cycle. Everybody wants to trade before, and the short selling, the pump and down, what we call it, the stocks that go up and down, every day is earlier. So I would say around 60-70% of the entries we take it pre-market. Some of them we close it after the market is open, but 60-70% of the entries are pre-market right now, nowadays.
All right, anything else on the list here for this morning?
Oh, I think we got pretty much. We are this NITO Israel company, and we are also looking this GLSI. Is a little bit expensive price, but the news are very good, so we're looking for longs in this one. Look, we don't only short, we also go long on some tickers.
Luis, great stuff. As always, we'll keep an eye on those names this morning. Best of luck today.
Thank you very much, Brendan.
Yeah, thank you, Luis. This is something we've been noting, we've been noting that not just since we started at 8 o'clock, but for a while now, for these specifically these small cap gappers, how needing to trade, if it is your bag, then sometimes that long side or the biggest move is happening in the pre-market, and that can be pretty lucrative. Just always remember this: if you are trading in the pre-market, every broker is going to be different. Here at Real Trading, and I know Luis knows this, and it's almost exactly the same thing. Maybe a couple of gateways here or there out of the millions that we have every gateway you can use in the market, but there's so many of them available, so it's not much of a difference. We have multiple different stop orders. They all the 3 main ones, 2 of them work. You just don't use the 3rd one, which is fine because you have other options, but not every broker is going to be the same. Some brokers, maybe you don't have access to your stop orders. Maybe you can't use market orders. Like little things might be a little bit different. Make sure you understand the rules of the game, but if small cap trading is your bag, then that pre-market, sometimes that's where the volume is actually going to be cleaner and better for some of these small cappers. Not necessarily true of larger cap stocks for obvious reasons. for sure. But yeah, great to have Luis on. And the reality is there's a million different ways to make money in the markets. It's not just about necessarily Tesla and Nvidia and Micron and those types of stocks. There's opportunities out there for everybody, and that's why we try to cover it all for you here on Trader TV Live. Yeah,
I was gonna say and he said it himself too. Check the P&L of the strategies that you're doing and continue to hit the ones that are working. Sharif mentioned going long, he mentioned going short, and it's whatever works. We don't, here on the show, we don't, celebrate, we don't show our P&Ls, we don't celebrate anything, to that extent. I mean, I'll try to talk like that a little bit just to give you guys an idea, but at the end of the day, watch the trades that we're doing and, have ideas for yourself and ask questions in the chat. I mean, that's the point of the chat, and I think that was a great conversation with Sharif and Luis there. But, all right, so I just want to show everybody one thing. Nasdaq go boom, Intel go bam. So just a little bit of a different flow here to what Intel's doing right now as opposed to what the market's doing. So this is not necessarily, I don't think it's a short today. I'd rather not trade it today unless it does go parabolic again. Like I said yesterday, I had my biggest trade of the year shorting this thing from the top. And it didn't even give that much back. We were still able to make it because we waited for VWAP, and that held pretty good. So right now, you're well under VWAP now. You're about $1 underneath it. So I feel like we could short a similar kind of a pull-up here if Intel does do that there today. So we'll wait for a very specific trade on Intel, something near VWAP, but it is still making a move lower. And I got out of 25% or so of, I think it was exactly 25% of my position on Intel yesterday, heading into earnings today. So we'll see what winds up happening here as Intel is starting to get down to the downside. Let's throw it back over to Neil.
Let's talk about PDS Biotechnology, everybody. You can find them as PDSB on the Nasdaq. They're transforming how the immune system targets and fights cancer with an initial focus on HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers. HPV-16 can cause head and neck cancer, and more people are facing these high-risk cancers than ever before. HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers are projected to become the most common type of head and neck cancer in the US in a few years. You can learn more at www.pdsbiotech.com. I want to thank them for sponsoring this part of the show. Also want to thank Uncle Jesse. I don't even have the site up. There we go. I want to thank Uncle Jesse here for the super chat. I appreciate you. $9.99. What's up, everybody? I'm a very new trader, less than 1 year. Welcome to the fray. It's not an easy game. And you all are certainly helping me as I learn any trading literature book recommendations. Also, you like SEGG here. Lottery.com. That Lottery.com has been moving around a little bit. Yeah. For sure. Talking about like small cappers that have been going crazy. Anytime somebody asks me about, I've always had the same answer for the last, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 years with regards to trading literature, and it's not necessarily a trading book. The book is called Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. She's a poker player, and the theme of the book is analyzing how you analyze your risk decisions. It's really more about evaluating risk decisions and probability decisions more than anything else. A common theme in the book is resulting. Like, you want to avoid resulting because in trading, the whole point is you're doing something every single day. Like, you're trading every single day, or at least very often. So micro results are pretty irrelevant, and long-term results are what matter. You want to do positive expectancy to accentuate that, and make sure that you're judging your process, judging the actual decisions based on their merits. Not because if you lose on a good trade, but it wins 7 times out of 10, like, you can't be freaking out, like that kind of a thing. So hopefully that helps there, Uncle Jesse. And I mean, to the second part there, Lottery.com isn't moving today. I know it's had a pretty good rally the last couple of sessions. Today, pretty relatively light volume pre-market, and it was dwindling volume yesterday. It feels like more of like a settle down day for this stock. Based on what we saw the last couple of sessions. Maybe it'll ramp up if it gets a catalyst, but I don't know. It's not on the radar because it kind of like when you're 3 days, a couple of days now removed from the big spike, probably gives another consolidation day before it moves again.
All right, 8:54. Everybody, make sure you do grab. We have our watch list, which is completely free. We have that $5 extra watch there for you guys if you did want a little bit extra information. But you can also get our watch list completely for free. This is our Trader TV Live watch list today. All the economic numbers you're looking for. Make sure you do grab this. Link is in description. Emailed every single day, and then upgrades, downgrades, who's been earning. What earnings are coming through today, after market as well, and then a whole bunch of information about the stocks that we're about to run down for you, right? Including Procter & Gamble, Nvidia, Apple. Here's the Meta story. There's the Jefferies reiterated buy. Here's Apple as well. Mobileye down 5% after its Q4 earnings. So lots of stuff available right here. It is for free, so make sure you do grab that, man. Earnings tonight on Intel. They're making a little bit of a move back up. We were just down almost 1%. Now you're down 0.3. So this is part of that violence that I'm talking about with Intel these days. So yeah, make sure you grab that watch list, and thank everybody that signed up for $5 a month. Just skip your coffee today and grab the morning note as well from Sharif. So that's an interesting thing that we'll be talking about throughout the day, and Sharif runs through that note obviously during the midday as well. So all right, guys, it's 8:55. Thank you to Luis for coming through, and let's get ready to rock and roll, man. Looks like the market's trying to go higher.
On anything that's moving around here, including the market back to highs, right back to 622 here for the Qs. It's the first time in a few days, anyways, we've seen, so that was the Nasdaq, first time in a few days we've seen the actual Nasdaq and tech leading once again, which kind of goes counter to what we were saying earlier with some of the yields popping up, some of the macroeconomic situation taking a little bit of a backseat. But I mean, we'll see if we get any follow through today. Intel, as the guys were saying, the big one coming up tonight. That thing's just been wild. It's worth noting both silver and gold. Bit of a retracement, but I mean, it's still very early.
It is, yeah. I mean, and you know how these commodities, especially precious metals, tend to trend for prolonged periods. We saw gold have a blowout year last year. We'll see whether it trends into this year as well. But tech, as you were pointing out rightly, Brendo, very, very strong. And I think this is more, you know, the resumption of the trend that we had last week after Taiwan semi-reported and kind of put or assuaged the fears that, you know, maybe the AI trade was coming to an end with their CapEx announcements about $56 billion in full year 2026. And you're seeing that decidedly here in the morning. You've got ARM up 5 1/3. ASML is up 2 1/4. MCHP up 2 1/4 as well. AMD and Intel had fantastic days yesterday. So I felt like maybe the retracement was more, you know, geopolitically driven, of course, with tariffs on Europe and Greenland and Iran and God knows so many other things. But the fundamental trade itself, I think is still there.
Yeah, and especially with interest rates creeping back up again. I mean, is it a tech rally? Is it a small cap rally still? We'll see. You mentioned this before we came on. Neil was talking about this earlier as well. For anyone just joining, there's an IPO today. It's not going to be monstrous, but priced around 212 million, I guess, or they raised about 212 million. BTGO in the crypto world, $18 per share. Above the initial pricing, which was targeted 15 to 17.
Absolutely. So it's nice. It's oversubscribed, so we can kind of get a gauge of what the market is thinking. As you mentioned, 15 to 17, that was the initial range. It's going to come to 18. The company's sold 11.8 million shares, raising about $212 million, exceeding the 201 that they were expecting. The IPO values BitGo at around $2.1 billion. And if you guys want to read this entire thing, it is all on the morning note. And for those who signed up, thank you, Sean, for reminding everybody. You just go over here. Here's the Trader TV Live homepage. It's super simple. You go to the post section. So we're on the home section by default. You click the post section, and there it is. Members only, Sharif's morning note. Just click that read more, and it pops up right there. An entire article dedicated to that IPO in the morning note, Brendo.
There are a couple on the Nasdaq coming up today, much smaller, a couple million. Just in the small cap end of things. Good to see a little bit of action in the IPO world coming back once again. Had a very, very busy last year. I mean, everyone's saying that this year is going to be monstrous, but it's taking a while to get started. I guess, I mean, we're only in January, but still plenty of time to see.
And we're going to cover that on the midday. I don't know when it's going to come live, but typically they do come on the midday. So we'll be covering the paired volume as well as the imbalances all before it opens. We'll be apprising you guys about the theoretical auction price. You can kind of get a sentiment as to whether people are bearish or a little bit bullish. All on the midday. We'll be doing it the entire 3 hours, Brendo.
Quick recap here, and then we'll get into the futures. This is what happened at 8:30. If you're just joining. Again, the headline GDP print comes out higher than expected, 4.4%. I'm sure we'll hear Trump possibly commenting on that today. 4.3% was the forecast. 3.8 was the prior print there. This helped possibly the continuing claims anyways. The initial jobless claims, 200,000, 195 was expected. The ongoing continuing claims, though, 1.84 versus 1.88. So nice to see a little bit of downtick there on the continuing claims. Coming up at 10 o'clock, again, this potentially could be something, potentially could be absolutely nothing. Again, core PCE, personal income spending, then some energy data, as you were mentioning as well. Nat gas has been flying with this insanely cold weather that apparently is coming back again for us on the weekend, which I'm not terribly excited about, but 10:30 natural gas data coming up today as well.
Yeah, we're going to find out the storage, whether or not there's a lot still in storage or whether they pulled out a lot, Brendo, to kind of help with the cold. And so that's part of the trade here, guys, that, you know, maybe the reserves are a little low. That means the government's got to go back into the market to add to the strategic reserves. And so that's what analysts are looking for, to see how much was withdrawn. That comes out at 10:30.
All right, let's get a look at the futures here, and we'll get into what else is moving around so far this morning.
685.50, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the SPY. We're up 0.2% right now. So the first level of resistance, or sorry, support, excuse me, is going to be yesterday's closing print. So 685.50. We're taking out 690 right now as we speak. So our prior area high above this level is going to be 693. So we're going to say 693 as our first level of resistance.
If you haven't done so yet, anyone looking for it, link is below right now in the description of this video. Top link there will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. It's free. Every single morning has everything that's moving around in the pre-market on it, and a little bit on the Y side of things. And then you come join us at 8 o'clock. We'll get you set for the open. Every single day the market is open. Intel, top of the list here. Coming up tonight, INTC going to report earnings. As you mentioned, this is looking a little bit like a small cap over the past little while here, including just a monstrous day yesterday. We're right back to the highs. 54 coming into play late yesterday.
Yeah, very, very strong. I think it was up 10% at one point in the day, or high single digits. So look, renewed confidence. That's what we're seeing right now in the CEO Lip-Bu Tan's turnaround strategy kind of beginning to take shape. Shareholders are increasingly betting that the operational fixes as well as the capital injections, we'll get to that in a second, and the data center demand are really stabilizing the core business for Intel. Speaking of these strategic capital injections, we'll recall that they got $5 billion from NVIDIA, $2 billion from SoftBank, and backing from the U.S. government. That has substantially strengthened their balance sheet and gave Lip-Bu Tan the kind of the flexibility to overhaul the manufacturing process. Their data centers as well doing quite well, and it's expected to grow at more than 30% year over year, bringing that top line number to about $4.43 billion. The demand is being fueled by the hyperscalers, but aside from the GPUs that we always hear about, a lot of demand still for their CPU racks, and that's where the hyperscaler comes in. Last but not least, Brendo, that 18A node, their kind of 3 nanometer equivalent to Taiwan Semi-Speak, really starting to pick up. They're starting to ship out these Panther Lake PCs, which is proof of concept that they can actually scale this.
President Trump had a 2-hour drive from Davos back to Zurich this morning because of fog, couldn't take the helicopter. So apparently on Air Force One out of Zurich already this morning. So whether or not we'll get a media scrum on Air Force One, as he typically likes to do, maybe he'll talk about Intel today, guys.
I can promise you, he was a very comfortable drive, knowing how they roll up in there. You see, like they've shown like the presidential like level how they roll. That thing is legit. I want to quickly address something, because there was someone in the chat, or a couple of people in the chat, that were mentioning, hey, it's really in depth. There's a lot of good information. This is the bold number that I think will be key tonight. I want to see that. I want to see the growth in the data center. I want to hear better yields out of Intel. But if you find all of this, the note, Sharif's note, a little bit daunting, like it's too much. Or maybe you're driving, or maybe you're going to be on a train or something like that. Well, one of the best ways to consume this kind of information, you can pop into any LLM and you can just have it read to you audio-wise. Like once you have it, you can do whatever you want with it. And that's the value of it. So if you do subscribe and you do jump in and join and want to get this note, I find a lot of times like listening to it audio-wise, you can reinforce it that way as well, is incredibly valuable, especially on a commute if you're just trying to consume that news in the morning before you trade. But as I said, I'm looking for, bolded right here, 30% growth. If they can meet that, I think that's going to be a good sign. The concern I have with Intel is we haven't baked this in. Like this is up since the US took a stake. This is, what do we say, 260, whatever percentage from the bottom. It doesn't matter. It was under 20. It's over 250% easily, almost a triple up from the lows. This has done a lot of work. It's put in a ton of work to get where it is. And if you go to an even higher time frame out on Intel, and this is not to say I'm going to be overly bearish on it, like this 55 level, outside of this, you've basically got these 2020 highs, right? Like you're talking about the COVID tops up here, like $65. So there's not a heck of a lot in terms of goalposts for it to get to past if it breaks this $55 level. So I do think it's going to have to be perfect tonight. All that said, it's the only thing that's really, well, Bitcoin trailed off as well, but it's one of the only things I'm looking at which is bearish right now. So I'm staying away. I want one type of play in Intel. It's got to show me something obvious for a reversion. Like maybe you pull back into a prior low and can do some kind of a mean reversion or like a consolidation breakout. Just some obvious setups and let it make the first move. Like I'm gonna let the first 15 candle be. I even, on my iPad, all I wrote was first candle is the story. Because it's basically told you on the first 15-minute candle, it's been letting you know the last 3 sessions which way to go. With the exception here, because like you did have like the first initial candle was to the upside, then an immediate rejection. So it did trap you once to the long side, but more or less, you know, if it does a topping tail, that's a rejection candle. I mean, there's another topping tail candle. I mean, there's a clean breakout, then we open higher, clean breakout, open at the top. Like it's been telling you which direction to go off that 15-minute candle. So patience is a play with Intel, but a lot at stake tonight.
Look, yesterday Intel was the biggest trade of the year. And the thing is like, this is something that you kind of wait for it to get extended out a little bit and then the pullback. Thing is, it was obviously a risky trade being up 10% to try to short that, but we did it yesterday and it was just a matter of it trying to set up into this top. So, you know, the one, I think we might have tried it, I think it was it was one of the pullbacks that we were able to get a little bit before it obviously took out the top. And then you just kind of keep on swinging, right? Once you stay underneath the 50-period moving average for a bit, that could be a little bit of a signal. We did bounce off VWAP. So there was, even though it was just a big trade because we had a lot of shares, that's why it was there. But 54.20 into 53, that's a buck and change. So you'll take that all the time on a stock like Intel. But understand that it did bounce off this 53 area and held it pretty good. So your rate now, you know, bouncing sort of off 53 again. So that's going to be a key level. If we lose this bid here, 52.80, then, you know, you want to look for that short. And then where you play it back to is going to be up to you. I don't think this name like should be going down like 3 or 4 or 5% today ahead of earnings. It's made its move. I feel like it's going to land somewhere around here today, 52, 53 bucks. So let's just wait to see if we're right about that one. It's not on my radar today, despite having, like I said, a big trade yesterday. It's just going to sit here, hang out for a minute, and we're going to wait to see what happens with Intel. So I'll probably be away from this. I don't really love trading names day of or day before, day after earnings, right? We talked about that with Netflix. I didn't touch that yesterday, although we did have that $80 bottom on Netflix that I put on the note that looked okay. So if I was going to do something on the note, I would just say 55 short. You know, we came into here this morning, we bounced off of it, and you're down about $1.50 at its lows. So that to me is the only real area to focus on right now, between 54.80 and 55 bucks. If it gets back up there, then you could take a shot if you want at that 55 short, but I wouldn't hold it through. It has no problem. Like yesterday, we started at 50 bucks, and look what happened there. Just escalated. It was up $1.50 before you could even blink. So I don't think you want to hold it through 55, but to me, this is the area to short and really nothing else. And if you're going to go long, you try against this 52.80, fine. But for me, it's just in the middle. So it's got to wait to get to one of these two extremes. I like Intel today, but not as much as I did yesterday.
Google here real quick. There was a note on Waymo, so get ready, Miami. Apparently, you're up next. Here is the map, the coverage map for Miami. So Waymo launching publicly fully driverless ride-hailing in Miami starting today, opening an initial 60 square mile radius, which includes that region that just showed on the map there. So Google looking pretty good here as we move on to tech. Back to session highs or pre-market highs here. Had a nice pop on that 830 number, it looks like, as well. Good day yesterday as well for Google.
Too bad it doesn't look like the Austin.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
If you know, you know.
Take a page out of Elon's book.
Yeah, that Google's not, they're not that whimsical. All right, guys, Alphabet is in the morning note today, upgraded today by Raymond James from outperform to strong buy. So talk about a vote of confidence here with a new price target of $400 up from $315. The upgrade is driven by what the firm is calling a refreshed bottom-up model that points to stronger long-term growth across all their platforms, whether we're talking about search, whether we're talking about Google Cloud. They're really liking the growth here, and they're saying they have a fundamentally improving AI stack that's supposed to drive more upward estimate revisions, they say, going into the year. Also, Google's up 2%. Meta also up strongly here, Brendo, on new endless support. They're both, the mega caps. Meta Platforms remains a buy at Jefferies. They reiterated the $910 price target. Consensus estimate, basically of 1.36 strong buy. Many different reasons they're upgrading Meta, not the least of which is their 82% gross margin.
So the question becomes, I think, or the narrative around this day becomes, again, if things are shifting, if the all clear has been given as far as potentially more tariffs or a lack thereof more tariffs, is the tech trade back on? Where's the best opportunity? I mean, we just looked at that Google chart, already back to highs this morning after a pretty big day yesterday. I say all this because of this chart. This is a daily chart of Apple right now, which has been definitely lagging not only the overall market, but I would say tech in general, just in the past couple of days here. I mean, this looks like a screaming buy right now for Apple.
If you're asking my opinion, which one to get into at the moment, it seems to be Google with the entire tailwind. Whether or not Apple is going to incorporate Gemini and Siri, which is fantastic. It gives many 100 million users access to see how good their AI is. And then you can't discount at all the growing influence of Google Cloud as well, eating market share away from AWS and Azure, growing quite substantially. So Google remains to be, it remains the strongest one of the bunch, Brendo.
Yeah, I was just going to pull up here quickly. I don't have it in front of me, but their actual reporting day is coming up on the 29th. So we have to wait, I guess, a week or so still for Apple. But could that potentially be the catalyst, that we need to hear to get this thing moving again? Because as you said, if the focus is specifically on the AI narrative, Google seems to have won Apple over somehow, some way in that sense. Maybe we hear something in the report.
Well, Marques Brownlee had a great video on this. I think it was last week, mid-last week, where he was basically saying exactly what you just said there. Basically the consumer-facing, the front-facing company, which is Apple, is going to utilize kind of the back end, which Google's not back end, but in this case they are, right? Their AI. And his question that he was putting to his audience, and basically answered himself towards the end of the video, is who stands to benefit from the most from this? The company who's actually going to employ it and kind of distribute it to their users, or the company who actually is able to create it? Who monetizes more? And so this was his question, and he was basically saying the same thing that you said, the staggered release, the failed release, the delayed releases, but he's saying maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel. We'll have to wait and see. They got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Apple is and always has been a hardware first type of company. Google software first, user-friendly software first. I'm a firm believer in that still. I don't know, guys. Apple getting to some pretty key levels here.
Yeah, maybe, well, it's at least done the first sign that the bottom might be in, which was what seemed like some kind of a capitulatory event, right? Like 2 sessions ago, remember at the close, it was pretty distinct. If you were watching the afternoon or the last 10, 15 minutes a couple of days ago on Tuesday, you would have seen what was a weak stock roll through 2250 and then plunge all afternoon, only to get just insanely bought up in the last 10 minutes of the session. Then that same area where it bought from ends up holding on weakness yesterday, and then you get the ramp job. So look, you've made this 245 looks like a bottom to me. That's 2 days confirmatory. You get a higher low here. But if this had been above 252, I'd be thinking long on Apple. This would be the one. It's like, oh, it would be above those highs. It got the news in the afternoon. It couldn't sustain that, but it hasn't even retaken the 252. So I'd say that's a little bit disappointing for me, but I do believe in that 245 now that we've seen it hold on the daily chart. Like, I think, maybe even another day of consolidation, but if we're not above 252, this one's gonna not stand up for me. I want the stocks that are breaking out, and I think that's where I want to differentiate. Like, did it bust through where we got to yesterday on the good news? That's why, for the first time in a while, looking at SMCI, like double topped yesterday on the Greenland return headline, through the 33 high on the daily. It's above the 250 period moving average. It's got some room to rally as well. So there's a lot working for this trade. I like it back into these prior highs, about 32.8 to 32.9 here. And as long as we can hold that off the open, looking longs today on SMCIs particularly. But Apple's got to get through 252 for me.
Yeah, Apple for me, I mean, the high of 285, whatever it was, downside, yeah, it's got to get going. I mean, again, earnings next week, so we'll have to wait to see what Apple winds up doing. All these names coming through next week. We talked about a huge tech rally. I have Google breaking this 336.50 or so area to go long. So we'll wait to see if that works, man. Big Mag 7 leader there. Raymond James upgrade today, puts it to $400, the price target. So we're going to see if this winds up taking out that 336.50. And where did I find that 336.50? Probably a good question to ask. Oops, just closed that chart. But right into here, 336, we'd have, yeah, so it goes, okay, here it is. So it's right back into here. So it's like this is 335, I mean, I don't mind going long 336 either, but there was a level, I guess it was probably into here, 336.50, that high is 338. So this is why I need a little bit of a longer time frame onto this chart. But if you're just gonna look, I feel like 336 to 335, there's enough here, but I'd like to see if we can break the closing bar of the 14th, which would be right in there. We opened up higher into 338, and then we came through. So looks like there's going to be some kind of selling up here. So I'd like to see a break of 336.50. So that's what I'd written down there. 336 is probably fine. I think I have a 336 right now breakthrough. So we'll see if that winds up hitting on Google. Look, I like the upgrade. We've talked about that a couple of times about how that's been moving stocks around. It is coming back down in a little bit here, although the market still ticking up some highs. We'll see if we can take that out. Even a pre-market long of 335.50 might do it as well. But if this is going to be another bullish day, Google does have a couple dollars in it. We've seen those moves happen, quite regularly. So 336.50 is what I've written down. So let's wait to see if there's going to be a opportunity there. And then I also have Micron written down as a big long as well, breaking through $400. So upgraded today Micron by William Blair to outperform. I think it is outperforming. Super cycle here on Micron. It bounced. Look at VWAP yesterday, like an absolute monster. So we can wait to see what happens with that. If we get above it, then we can use VWAP sort of as our springboard to get higher. So we'll wait to see Micron right here taking out 400. So Micron on my radar there today. Apparently Elon is speaking, so we'll have to hear this story, and who better to tell it to us than the boys in the back.
I don't know about that, but we'll do our best here. Yeah, coming up 10:30 this morning. He wasn't expected to be at Davos, but Elon going to make an appearance. Probably going to be nothing. He'll talk probably very high level, but if he's asked directly about what's happening as far as Tesla is concerned, maybe we get something. This is another stock that has been just stuck. I mean, we had a nice push up to almost 500 bucks there, but just stuck ever since.
Yeah, it's in that wait and see. Ever since it glanced at that $500, it's been lower lows and lower highs. So he's scheduled, Elon Musk scheduled to speak at 12:30. He's going to be on the stage, according to this report by Business Insider, with BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. The Finksters and Musk going to be on the stage together. That should be an interesting watch. Separately, there is this headline out of Berlin that Tesla cut more than 1,700 jobs at the Gigafactory there, despite earlier denials. We know that this follows a 10% workforce reduction from 2024, with sales falling 50% last year in Europe, Brendo. So makes sense that they reduced separately as well. There was this headline that we gave to you later in the day. Lemonade coming out with FSD-specific insurance, and that seemed to have aggravated Jim Chanos, who criticized Lemonade for cutting rates. It's 50% discount, by the way, for that insurance, because the statistics point to safer driving by FSD. He's arguing true autonomous driving requires manufacturer liability insurance, and this follows the FSD lawsuit.
The insurance should be, you know, in conjunction with the actual pricing for these ride-sharing services, I would think. I mean, if, you know, autonomous ride-sharing is going to go 70, 80% discount, or the cost of which off, you know, what it currently is with human beings behind the wheel, why is that any different?
I don't think it should be.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see, though. But yeah, I mean, Tesla guys stuck in this choppy mess as far as the daily chart goes.
Yeah, well, you know what? Okay, fine. It's in the choppy mess, but better there than still down at 420, where it's relatively cleanly balanced. Okay, granted, like right at the end you have the end of Tuesday and the pre-market yesterday is the period of time that you spent underneath 420 bucks. To say that that's not a level on Tesla, it just is. And then you bounced in the morning, and then you bounced in the afternoon off 420. We can forget about that today on Tesla. Because Elon is speaking, again, you don't know what he's going to talk about, and you know he can move the market. I feel like there will be 2 days for Tesla. The first one, can it close above 438 on a 15-minute? And if it does, then it gets into the upper end of this chop zone with room to 450. All bets are off when Elon's talking. He has a tendency every once in a while to say something off the cuff, which can materially affect how Tesla moves. So if you happen to be in this at 10:30, have a stop order would be my strong suggestion. It's not the top of my list. Certainly after he's done talking, I do think that it becomes a little bit more in play for me. I just don't want that kind of chaos. I feel like when he's talking, you can react to stuff, and that's generally gone pretty well. But like I remember, it was a couple of years ago. Well, it's more than a couple of years ago now. It was when he made the Tesla's overvalued comment, kind of out of nowhere. And it was wild. Like if you happened to be sitting in a short, it was like, oh, well, that kind of worked out for you. But there was pretty much nothing you could do in the moment except get stopped out or just be in the money if you were already in the short. And you never really know. Anything could happen when he speaks.
Yeah, I mean, I think today's a day you can be pretty positive about Tesla. I mean, it's up 1.2%. It's beating the market. They're basically pulled right down into the close yesterday. We saw the market give back. And so it was about to break this level. So why not have just a punch through a 438? Like, I think this is pretty reasonable with the market doing what it's doing. You could use VWAP here. You know, yesterday there wasn't too much. You could use VWAP off in the morning. We had that great little, this is where I like to trade Tesla once it gives us this little bottom there. Like, you know, it happened to be yesterday at 420, so no surprise there. And then we came back in and retested that, and then we just took off. So actually, that was 2 days. No, that was yesterday. So right into here today, if we can do a similar kind of a bottom into here, into VWAP 435, 434, like into the 200 period, into VWAP right there, I think that makes for a good trade. So it's coming back in just a little bit here. So watch out for the market. I think today the dip buys should be okay. The market might just flush a little bit off the open because there's been so much, you know, pent up demand that we saw yesterday when the Greenland sort of bye-bye tariff talk was mentioned there. We saw some nice upside push there. So we do know that there's buyers in this market, but I just wonder if you had gone long there yesterday and then you experienced this pullback, you might have been like, wow, man, if I can get another opportunity to get out up here, maybe I would. So I just wonder if there's going to be a little bit of selling pressure early, and then we'll wait to see if we can buy this dip. And if the dip only goes to 434, I think that's a good sign. You don't want it to get too deep because we don't really have a bottom to support. So I would say somewhere around here, 434 to 435, where this 200 period moving average is, and where we sort of landed yesterday. So yeah, I mean, I really like Tesla here. I don't like Rivian. I don't like a lot of these names because they pull back so much. You know, so watch out for Rivian. That's still the Tesla chart, but they've had a nice little bounce back for the last 2 days. But this name here, I still like it down at 14 if we can get down here to $14. So watch out for Rivian, up 1.5% there. We've already talked about Ford and GM. So yeah, Tesla's going to be a winner today, I feel like. And if it turns red, then I don't know what to tell you. So I like this stock. What time was he coming out?
It's supposed to be 10:30.
Okay, so 10:30. So
yeah, I don't know how accurate that'll end up being.
I mean, you know, we always look at the downside, right? He's probably going to talk positively. He's going to talk about the robo-taxis. He's going to talk about, you know, what he needs to talk about, the full self-drive and things like that. So, and since this is in Davos, hopefully talk about the European Union. Maybe, I don't know, give his opinion on some of these tariffs. But
he's got opinions on Europe, so
I know. So I don't know if he's going to talk about the people or what.
He's going to talk about Europe.
Let's see if he just sticks with the business side of things here today. But yeah, Tesla should be on watch, I think.
All right, let's continue along here. Palantir, another one of those. If you zoom out to the daily time frame, just chopping around, we're closer to the bottom end of the range here, but getting the coveted Phillip Securities initiation today. I've never heard of this firm.
Neither have I, and I like the way you said it though. But yeah, they're quite bullish on Palantir. They initiated coverage with a buy rating and a $208 price target. The call here, according to the report, is driven by the AI adoption, of course, expanding enterprise use cases and improving revenue mix towards a higher growth commercial customers. More on that in a second. But they did forecast revenue growth for Palantir to be about 47% year over year, with $4.2 billion in revenue. Commercial growth, this is the one that I want to talk about, expected to grow at 51%, which is going to outpace for the first time the government revenue growth, which is expected to be about 43%. The U.S. does remain Palantir's main or largest customer at 66% of the revenue going to the United States. Speaking of that 66 number, that U.S. growth forecast is also expected to be 66% growth. And last but not least, we had a couple of comments as well from Truist and BofA on Palantir.
Yeah, it's been a cautious trade, to say the least, over the past little while on the AI side of things. On that, OpenAI Chair Brett Taylor in Davos this morning saying OpenAI is probably a bubble. Probably not what you want to hear from the chairman of OpenAI.
Why would he say that?
I mean, he's just saying what it is. Like it's clearly something along those lines. Whether or not it'll play out that way remains to be seen. But Palantir definitely cautious lately, guys.
Man, all we do is print money since 2020. Anywhere that money went to in assets is effectively, by definition, a bubble. But the thing about bubbles, you ride them until they burst, and it kind of is what it is. Like, that's literally how the market works. But overall, it tends to recover well from them. And when they burst, they tend to be buying opportunities. That said, if we were just talking about 438 there on Tesla, and I was saying Apple has a level that it needs to break out of that's a little bit further away, like that needs to go like $2 or $3. Palantir, that's a reversal candle on the daily from yesterday, no questions asked. And you need to get through 170 here. There's a little overhead resistance, $2 higher at 172. Like, I would venture to say that's probably a more significant resistance level. But, you know, then 170 to 172, if we can hold that area, then this one looks pretty constructive for a long. You just have the imbalances. You still have them up?
Yeah.
Because we'll go to Sean for the imbalances. There's a pretty big one that you guys might also be interested in. Intel over Mill.
Yeah, Intel back to $54. Look, I have written down here, it's going to happen right now, so it's unfortunate because I was hoping that we would stay down here at 168 to 169 for this magical 170 break, but it looks like it's going to happen here with 2 minutes to go. So I really, you know, they talked about the fundamentals improving here, massive revenue growth, talking about margins, like everything that we needed to hear about with Palantir is what was mentioned. So I think it's just maybe a punch long and then wait it out a little bit. So if we do get into 170, man, ever since we've switched over some of our monitor settings here, it's very, very tough sometimes to find this cursor. Okay, so there's the move down again. So, all right, so it's a nice move there. So that doesn't look like we'll get punched in here. But yeah, we just said there was Intel on here. That just got paired off. So I guess Palantir was probably a buy. That might have been just paired off there as well. Intel was at $54. Yeah, okay, it's still going higher. I don't see it here anymore. But, oh, there's Intel. So small, oops, where was it? It was right there somewhere. Okay, everything's getting out. Oracle had a nice little bump up here as well in the pre-market. Oracle up 3% today as well. But yeah, so I really, long story short, I like Palantir here, breaking through that 170. I think it's worth a try. It's nice that we just got there, not nice that we just pulled back, but that could be our out if we're wrong. 168.50 break or so. So let's try that 170 long and then see if it works out. 168.75 or so. We just bounced cleanly off of. A minute to go before the bell, and we've got another crypto IPO.
BitGo going to be one of those strange 4-symbol or 4-letter NYSE tickers. So just keep that in mind. It's on the NYSE, not the Nasdaq, BTGO.
$18 IPO above the 15 to 17, sold 11.8 million shares, raising 212.8 million. That exceeds the 201. That values the company at about 2.08 billion. They've been pursuing the IPO since September, or for 4 years, it says. They filed in September, and they're going to list on the NYSE, as you mentioned, under BTGO. Goldman Sachs and Citigroup leading the raise, but this will be a controlled company under the NYSE rules, meaning that insiders still maintain most of the ownership and control.
About 15 seconds to go, guys. You will have that probably on the midday coming up. Guys, BTGO on the NYSE today.
No, but probably. Opening bell brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex. Check them out, 3x daily leveraged ETFs. And scan that QR code as we get this market opened. How about right now? There we go. So, look, I mean, I'm still bearish, is what it is. I'm still going to be bearish on IBIT till proven otherwise. We actually lost the $90,000 level.
It's a nice, look at this move down here in the NASDAQ.
No, the NASDAQ is definitely moving to the downside. Bitcoin trying to bounce a little bit here, but not doing it successfully. Tesla, initial move down, it's not breaking it. You're not breaking out if you do that off the open. That's pretty simple to see. SMCI could be pulling back. That'll give us a chance to maybe pull back into, I spoke too soon. Not going to give us a chance to pull back into prior highs. Already bouncing, VWAP's not going to be useful here because these dark pool wicks. But SMCI holding that 33, at least initially here. So yeah, move downside in Tesla, move downside in the overall market.
Yeah, not great there. I was going to say BBAI, if it breaks $6 on Cargo Seer, a new purchase for them. Cargo Seer they acquired. They helped them look through different packages, different as you go through the border and whatnot, and you're in your truck and whatever, they help you look at what information is there or not. Okay, here we go, man. We're into Google right now. So our first position is Google long. It does come into 331. So let's just wait to see if it wants to get back up to the upside. We did have a Google 31 dip buy opportunity here. Raymond James upgraded the stock, so I'm upgrading this stock too. Let's see if it gets going. There goes Palantir, 167.25. So 166. 60. Yeah, 167 right now for Palantir, so we're long down there as well. Let's see if this one can get going. So far, so good here. Google long, Palantir long.
Yeah, one we didn't give to you guys, which could be breaking right now, was on the note, is SMR. Looks like it just did. Yes, I did not get into SMCI there, unfortunately. Just bounced off the volume weighted average price. But SMR just broke through a consolidative high. As we're speaking. This one was a strong move in the morning. All of the nuclear names got buoyed by the president early, and then it completely reverted. But just like it for a break, give it to the prior bar and see how far it can fill in this gap into 21. I still like 21 as a separate sort of play. Like 21 will be its own thing if we get there on SMR. But nothing crazy happening in crypto. That's basically flat. Market's heading down, but
yeah,
Bitcoin,
big time. What the hell?
Yeah, Bitcoin's not really moving as much as I would have thought.
No, things are going a little weird here for me anyways, for sure, as I sit here and try to watch what these stocks are trying to do. I mean, especially a Palantir that goes up and down and around again. We're huge right now. I mean, I'm just going to tell it like it is. But yeah, and right there's Google. Google's an absolutely freaking monster play, Neil. This is now $2 in the money, and we are monstrous on Google. So yeah, buddy, good trade there. Oh, my things aren't showing up again, my indicators, because I took them off again, so I had to put that back on, partial fill, put that apply, and there it goes, man. Google right to the top side right now. We're monstrous right now. This now is my biggest trade. I mean, I know I said that yesterday. I know I'm tired of saying it, but there it goes, 335 and change, nice upside play. There goes Palantir as well, man. All that happened was our dip buys came through. So Google and Palantir both dip buy on that low move there on the Nasdaq. Will it hold out? I don't know, but we're going to put some more offers here just to get filled as this market continues high side right now. Google, $2+ now in the money on Google all the way up. So good little trade there. I'm going to cancel my buy through the top side because we've already got the long. It's a monster trade for me over there now. Anyways, there it is, man. Dip buy those.
Yeah, dip buys, breakouts, pretty much everything seems like it's working so far. SMR did get right into 2070. It's trying to press into that 21. That'll be, like I said, that's going to be a separate trade. So it broke out, was able to get a dip back into prior high. Now let's try and fill in the entirety of the gap here. But again, nothing else is really moving. And I want to quickly jump over to INTC. They're reporting sliding down. Forget about that buy imbalance. That didn't mean a heck of a lot of anything. Already $1 to the downside. 53 was the only support level, and then if you don't hold that, I guess you got the gap down into $50 that you can play around with. I still like this SMCI, but trying to be patient with it. It's not going to close. You get a topping tail candle, and you're getting a lower high. That's not the setup that I am looking for a long. So right now it's going to be SMR. We're looking for it into 21. It triple topped at 21 yesterday, so that was a play the entire way. We'll take the 2.5, 3 points, and then see if we can go dip buy or breakout after that. As the market trying to recover a bit here, and I thank you everyone in the chat for reminding us that Meta was moving. Meta up 4%. Is this the moment for Meta? Maybe, but it needs to close over that 50-period moving average. I want to see us break the 50. Haven't been able to do much with it lately. Let's see if it can finally get going. Tesla's still in the dumps. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, Tesla. All right, so Palantir, I'm going to try 167 again, but it does break through that 166.75, so we wind up getting out, but we'll be flat, actually, on Palantir, all said and done. It did rip pretty nicely to 167.80, so we did have about 40 cents or so on it as a maximum, but then dropped it out, so bye-bye to that one. Now almost $3 in the money, and our best out is 335, but we do want to take out just a little bit more here. As look what the market's doing, man. It is really getting killed right now. So any of those shorts, man, probably paying off right now. Wow, I'm just really glad that we got out of PLTR, man. That one is really coming back in quite aggressively now, Palantir. So got to wait for that one to actually make some sense there. To buy it. So yeah, I'm just going to hold on to Google. We're out now of pretty much, I'm going to say we have probably maybe 20 to 25% left on this trade. So we'll just wait to see if that one winds up moving in one way or the other. Hopefully to the long side. I still like that 340. I don't know if we're going to get to that or not. GameStop pretty quiet here today. We thought that there could be some sort of an action there on Ryan Cohen's most recent buy, but
you like insider buying, but I guess it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to wait to see how it's reacting to it. The Nasdaq pulls back pretty aggressively here, right? I mean, down to 0.6. We still have a long way to go before I really get excited about this. I wrote down on the TQs like $53, so that's all the way back to yesterday. So this was more like of a dramatic, because I knew I'd be long Google and Palantir, so I didn't want to necessarily just hop right into the futures, but you're at the 200-period moving average. Maybe there's something here with the TQQs. So yeah, I'm just going to sit in this Google one. It's obviously it's coming back a little bit, but we've done quite well already today to hit some of those highs. It's just the market does not bounce.
Well, this is why.
It keeps on going. Yeah, Micron.
Oh, it's got to be the memory names. I haven't looked at Micron, so I don't at me if it's not.
Micron's getting crushed.
But SNDK is down 5%, SanDisk here. Yeah, we're really starting to get rinsed on.
Intel's getting hit.
Through 475. I don't know do I want to reload again on SMR? This will be, it's going to be like a put up or shut up for this on the volume weighted average price. Like we didn't get that press. The big press that I really wanted was to get up to 21. Like it was able to get to that 75, 80 zone. But if we lose the bid under VWAP, I think I'll duck out and look for the next opportunity. just a little bit crazy. The rest of the market back in. Not the time I want to be sitting on the bid, but the only thing I was looking short was IBIT. And the second it established underneath VWAP, it was basically gone. Right? Like they heavily sold it, so I'll wait for a short opportunity on a pop to the upside. The way I see it, I mean, Bitcoin I already thought was going to be a little bit weak today, so let's just stick with that for the short trade. So I'm not going to reload this third time on SMR. We'll just hold on to what we have and look to short the pop for the first time here. Coming in will be IBIT. We're still under 90,000, so it still works for me.
Yeah, that's crazy. We didn't even get our full shares on Google, but man, oh man, this is now at 335. So this is just continuously lifting all nets today for me. We are going to go long Palantir if it breaks 67. We sort of talked about that one there. I thought that was going to be a decent level. It just didn't turn out to be that. So I'm going to try to give it another shot. Obviously, we can make the move down into 165. But I'm sort of just waiting out for this Google and looking at my notes. Palantir, Micron, we talked about. I thought Micron was a long through 400. Obviously, we never got there. And WAP to the downside, man. Just a huge move lower there for Micron as it can't get itself figured out, man. I mean, not yet today. It's been a great stock. I mean, 1 day pullback to be expected, right? We did say that Intel was going to be potentially a little bit of a problem as well, but here it is right now. Intel, a problem. So I was saying that there was one section that we wanted to see if it held, right? And that was down here at 5280. So we're not quite there yet on 5280 for Intel, but as you can see, if I zoom, I can't zoom this out because it's just a minute chart, that's going to be the key level for me. We've already fallen back in. We talked about if we ever got back up here to 55, there could be something. There it is. We are now long on Palantir. Let's, oops, got to go back over to it. Let's give this one a little bit of love if it can go. I'm not sure. We'll get some out in the 20s or 30s if that is possible. But I'm going to get stop out on that break lower, give myself a quarter. Here it comes. So if this breaks 166.75, I think is what I put in. Maybe it's 69 or so. There it is, the breakthrough. So bye-bye. So we will lose right there on our last Palantir. But I'm learning my lessons, man. Like, we're not going hard into that. That was a loss right there. And we'll focus on what has been winning, right? So another out there at 335. I'm going to reload Google if it comes back to 331 and give this one just a 331 break. But the future's kind of just wobbling now. One more play, and then I'll go back.
Is definitely.
Yeah, BBAI. I want to see if that broke $6. No, nothing yet on BBAI.
Yeah, BBAI with an acquisition this morning.
Yeah, Cargo Sierra. It was last night, but it was after.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there's a catalyst for BBAI.
Yeah.
Not just sort of randomly saying it. But no, SMCI, don't want to chase this one. We're back above VWAP. It's back above $33 on a huge reversal candle to the upside here. So I want to see if I can get it in front of VWAP. Give it to about 32.90. As even Ramin's checking out the temperature. You know it's cold, man.
It's freezing in here.
It's legit. It's legit cold. No, seriously. So we just got into SMCI, sort of bouncing off the. Well, VWAP doesn't matter as much early, but it's also through 33. Like 33 is the key level. Here, I'll quickly show you. 33 was the key level here on SMCI. It just also so happens to correspond with the volume-weighted average price. So yes, it's bouncing off VWAP, but it has more to do with the 33. I want to play this back into the high. The reason I'm playing it back into the pre-market high is this is still a false break. This is a false break with a lower high. So it's a scalp trade until proven otherwise. And we got a super chat from Jeep Limited. Yeah, I got a Grand Cherokee. Market waiting on PCE at 10. Maybe. I mean, do we care that much about the data? I don't know. I'm inclined to think that we've had headlines from Davos matter a heck of a lot more than data this week. But you could be right. And certainly in 20 minutes, we'll have that for you live. Adair is already behind, as you can see. So we'll be locked and loaded and ready to go. But I'm inclined to think it might not be a gigantic move on PCE. Like, we didn't really do much with GDP.
No.
So.
Yeah. I mean, PCE is a pretty important number for sure, but we'll wait on it. The implied moves and whatnot for the PCE here. I'm just going to break this out for you. I have it on Twitter as well. It's on TTV Research there. But here we go, man. Today's movement. PCE expected 0.2 or 2.8 on the year over year. October 0.2, 2.8. So they're right here, year over year, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to come out, and we'll see what winds up happening with it. But oh boy. Obi today, Sharif today. Neil Nye so far. There it is. Google just took out 335. So hopefully that'll be now the springboard for a higher play. We're taking $3 a couple times now, right, on this. So there it is. Just waiting for it to break higher. My next offer is at the high of the day, 335.50. So hopefully that will come in. I'm literally at 48, so 335.48. Hopefully that'll hit. Then that will leave me with about, after that, we'll have about 20% left of this trade. So this one really took off for us. Good trading here today for Google. Guess what, Neil? The #1 trade idea right there on the note was Google long dip buy into 331. It's exactly what happened. Let's wait to see if 336.50 goes, but there it is, man. Off your sticky note, it's your #1 trade idea there today for Google. So yeah, we'll pat ourselves on the back for that one. But we just stopped again at 335 and then turned around completely. Look at the market, man. See you later.
It's kaput. The Nasdaq is definitely kaput. But I jumped out. I said I was going to, if it doesn't hold VWAP, I'm going to get out of SMC. I'll still be up on it, and it might have wicked me out, but I want the confirmation that we're holding that VWAP. I don't want that trend to completely reverse on me. And then SMR, which was our other idea, holding up pretty well. Now it's holding trend very well. It's giving you about 3%. I've only taken 1.5%. On this, but it's given you about a 3% range in here. If we can break out that top, I think we got a secondary play. The longer it's able to hold on with the market down and this a clean breakout trade, the more I'm gonna like it. So as long as we're making higher lows, we'll be fine with this one. Oh, what happened on Bitcoin? I did not get the 5090s on IBIT. No mas. Already headed back down. So yeah, again, the only short we really liked. I don't want to chase it too far, but I'll come down a little bit further to try to pick this one up. If the market's going to be weak, this was the one play I liked. If I get short under here, then I got to move the stop. Instead of trying to give it back into 51, which was the key level in the morning yesterday, at least early, I'll just give it to the prior bar, which is more like 50.85. So I'm going to get short a little bit lower, but with a tighter stop here, ideally. On IBIT. Oh, we didn't talk about China. Specifically Alibaba. This is not going to matter because Alibaba's not going to get to $173 the way it's going, but Baba up 5%. They're spinning off their chip unit. Well, they're talking about spinning off their chip unit, which has it spiked up overnight, up 5 points here. I did like it at 173 for a dip buy. Obviously nowhere close. I've canceled it now. It's breaking out. Don't want that thing falling in out of nowhere on me. So IBIT, we're going to try to grab, which we just did, not IBTI, but IBIT. So looking for the low of the day here on Bitcoin. As market weak, Bitcoin already was weak, so we'll be fine with that. And I wish Tesla was doing more, everybody, but what looked pretty promising, maybe Tesla is waiting to do something positive when Elon comes on in 45 minutes.
Yeah. Still, it's only 9:45, so there's lots of action coming through here. Google, I'm still waiting for the very bottom. It's coming right back into this play. I'm still going to take Palantir long on another break of 160. I just want to keep trying this 167. I think it's going to be something. I mean, we'd like to get above VWAP. Obviously, that's 167.15. Maybe we just wait for that. But it's. Thing is, the market, if the market doesn't go, then forget about it. Like, I'm hoping to catch this one on a bid through the market. So, like, if the market starts to rip, so will this. And then if the market can continue, I believe this will as well. And we can, and that's the better thing about what I'm doing today is, although we did have good shares when it, fell onto our lap, especially with Google, we didn't even get our full fill. I do want to play this momentum long. I still think the market has a great trade to go upside there as well. So we'll see where that winds up going right now. But okay, so that's what we're doing, and we're going to figure that out, what's going on with that play here. Looks like Palantir is making a move lower. Okay, so personal income, personal spending coming out at 10 o'clock. We did want to look, we talked a little bit about Apple. That gets its way to 251, now back through 250 and looking like it wants to go lower. Just going to recap some of these mega cap names. Meta did have a good story today. They were up almost 2%. Now they're up 4%, as there goes Meta right off the open, man. Good trade. Upgraded, good levels there into 670. We'll see if that winds up holding it. But again, like, this name's been getting crushed, over the last little while. Still a downward trend, but we are making, yeah, there it is. So hold 636. Like, I really do hope so, Adam. Looks like it's trying to do that right now at 637. So you're talking about it holding 636. Looks like that is
go time right there for Meta. And then just a quick check-in on some of the banks, and we'll do like a little bit of a sector watch as well in a minute. JP Morgan up 1.3%. That's a nice story. We looked at Bank of America earlier as well, hoping for that to get upside. That's the same, almost exact same move there. And then XOM into the energy space up to 132.50. That looks like, wow, look a little bit higher. 133.50 was in there, but right where we opened up here for XOM, so not a bad opportunity there. But yeah, for me, just sort of holding out to wait to see if Google can once again retake this 335. A couple good outs there, and I'm not buying this dip, right? So we're buying it down here. If it can come into 331.50, that's my play here for Google.
And moving to the downside of the markets, and if you're looking to take advantage and you're a savvy Canadian investor of these moves, you want to boost that exposure in the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro's 3x daily leveraged ETFs. They've got built-in FX hedging, aiming to amplify short-term market moves while minimizing the impact of currency swings. So whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, they're built for active traders like yourselves that are ready to take on these markets. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. You can scan the QR code you see out in front of you for more information. As you can see, market came back in, got to target on IBIT. I elected not to reload on SMCI. SMCI came right back through the volume weighted average price after that initial breakout, could not sustain, so we already got out of that one. And then the move in SMR, it was the first blast up on the break. Now it presses through the breakout price. We held for 21s, didn't want to get all the way there again. Like, it took that 1.5% move, just couldn't really go any further. Let's see it close. If it can hold 20 bucks, I still like the long, but as long as we're under VWAP, I have to wait for it to close this gap, or at least reestablish some higher lows or anything like that. So far, so good. I mean, all three plays worked. You just didn't get that secondary push to the upside for SMR at the end of the day. And I mean, I hate to go harbinging on Tesla, but this is now just rejected the volume weighted average price and strictly trending down. So this is gonna be for sure wait and see moment for me. I don't think I trade this one. Maybe after Elon. Intel, however, is trying to get back above the volume weighted average price. It does hold on to 53. Maybe this will put in some kind of a trend trade. Like, once it can just show a defined trend to the upside, I'd be looking for some kind of a mean reversion in the other direction. Yeah, so still looking at the same names. I will reload IBIT if it comes back up, but that's a big if. I'm sitting at VWAP. I didn't even get all the shares the first time, so my other order is just still sitting there. Next available pop on IBIT. If it's trending down like it did 2 days ago, there were several pops where you could get short. So I'm expecting that kind of a day for Bitcoin, and we're just waiting for the next move.
I'll buy a little bit of Google down here, but I don't know. And I'm also, we talked about Palantir, 165.50, if that does come through as well. Just let's do a quick little look on, the broader markets here, just to give a quick idea of what's happening across different sectors. So, right into here, you're gonna look to see some red action here in energy. We can look at some oil. Okay, we did get a little longer there in Google, so hopefully that starts to work out for us. Occidental, XOM, so downside there in the energy space here today. Healthcare technology, where's healthcare? Health services, UNH up 1.7%. That's going to be a nice one. Molina up 0.6 as well. We'll have to take a look at some of the other names like Eli Lilly. We saw them up for 3.5% or so yesterday. That was a nice move. J&J, we said that their earnings were pretty stellar, and they're resulting in that yesterday. They did have a dip down, and then that was bought right back up. So J&J adding another 1.1% today to yesterday's already fruitful move. So that's a good one. The manufacturing names continue to get hit, right? AMAT, GV, Lam. These names have just been on such a huge run. So it doesn't really surprise me for sure that these names are doing what they're doing. A little bit of a pullback in the space. Microsoft, Google, Meta is the big winner today. Oracle as well. Wow, Netflix down another 1.5%. So we said that we weren't dip buying anything here in Netflix, but today Netflix is making that move down another 1.5%. And then just over here, not all tech names are the same today. We have AMD is down, Intel is down, no surprise there. GE off earnings, they're down 4%. Micron down 2%. As that, the Micron chart looks nasty because what a 2% move in Micron looks like is much different than the rest. I mean, this is what Micron has had such a huge move
To the upside is MU. That move was pretty dramatic, man. 398 all the way down into 378. So here we go, Micron. Here we go one more time. Let's see if it can now battle back. Nice little size there at 385. Probably just punches that straight through. Okay, man, we were almost, I was moments away from getting long down here at 165.50. Now all of a sudden we get a baby long coming right through here into Palantir. I'm going to give 166. 40s or so as my out, just to give it a little bit more room on this long. But there goes Palantir. We're long again at 167. The market has made its move back. I know that we're getting a little aggressive here with Palantir. It'll be the only stock, obviously, I've lost on. But this name here, pulling back one more time. I just want to be part of this. So we're not using huge shares. Like I'm thinking if we can get 167, honestly, like back to 169, 169.50. So giving it 50 or 60 cents worth of room to grow, I think is worth it. So we'll see if Palantir can go. 7 minutes now until the numbers.
Yeah, 7 minutes till PCE as the market's trying to bounce in front of that number. Tesla looks like it's broken through VWAP, but double bottom here on SMCI. So I'm going to try to jump back in off of, it'll be yesterday's prior day double top and then now a double bottom. So we'll try to go long into the volume weighted average price there. But for everyone watching Tesla, it's revved up. You're going to close. That's not an unconvincing candle closing above the volume weighted average price. So that 438 breakout looking a little bit more likely than it was before as we start to press even higher and higher. And shout out to everyone in the chat throwing your small cappers in there. Remember though, $ and the symbol. If you type $ in the symbol, then that way when I look up, I can see BBAI, XTP, RR, Rich Tech. Wow, okay. That's I haven't looked at Rich Tech in a while. It's going to be out there. Meta, Tesla, SoFi. We haven't talked about the metals company, Micron. So all of these names are of interest. Just an easy way for us to be able to follow. I see Lam in there that you were just mentioning there, Sean. So it's just an easy way for us to keep track of what you guys are going to be interested in. So with 5 minutes to go for this PCE number, again, I'm not necessarily that hung up on the number here. I think you want to trade just based on your regular plan and try to work off the prices you like or the setups. But I don't necessarily want to be taking a fill at 59, like at 9.59. So I want to be getting in off of this low on SMCI. If I don't want to chase it too far, but I don't want to get in right at 359. So a couple of minutes, and we'll try to get back into that one. Bitcoin did not come up enough to get the short back in again, and I'm not going to chase it as well. Like it's got to get up to that 50.80 on IBIT, or I'm not going to be reloading that trade.
All right. Yeah, what names do you guys want us to talk about? Let's look at Big Bear AI again here, BBAI. It wasn't doing much. They had that cargo seer purchase. Okay, nice move now. I still have a $6 break long if that does wind up coming through. You know, no idea if that's what's going to wind up happening or not. AMD, we noticed, was a red stock into today, so battling back just a little bit right there for AMD. So good move. We'll wait to see what winds up happening there. Intel, is it at that 52.80 yet? No. So it does pretty much bounce right off 53. I mean, that was close enough into that spot for us from yesterday's low, 52.80. So we're going to try to pay attention for Intel making a move lower. I mean, the futures just cracked again lower. So it looks like, you know, we may wind up getting stopped out of all of our trades at some point, which is why it's important to take some of these profits when they're there. Google's coming right back into 331. So I'm bidding, just make sure here, I'm bidding 331.50 right now. And just in case we don't get that low, let me buy a little bit here in the 60s. But it looks like, okay, so Palantir, again, another loss there. So we'll go 0 for 3. But it's all just like, well, this one wasn't really a loss, but there it was 0 for 2, I guess, on these reload ideas. But we keep on trying 167, and I don't know why I'm obsessed with that level, but seems to not want to hold after all. And here we go. Now we just got into the low of the day again for Google. And this time, man, if we break 331, that's the level that I was looking at. If we break that, we're gone. And we are not going to hang around for this PCE number after all. So here it goes. Hopefully we do get a little bit of a bounce back up, but that's a reload there at 331.50 for me.
It's critical metals is absolutely flying around. 2 minutes ago until we have the numbers coming through, but 13, now 14% on CRML. These guys did not do very well yesterday, as you can obviously see. Just want to quickly jump back over to see how Tesla is doing. Don't think I'm going to be getting I might not get that SMCI fill. Still have 2 minutes to go. Could happen. But the confirmation for Tesla above VWAP, well, that distinctly did not happen. Broke out, no consolidation, nothing. There was no bid on the way back in, still looking incredibly weak. That's exactly the fake out I didn't want to get trapped in. You got to show me the high or low, or I'm not going to be jumping into you at all. I feel the same way about that SMR for a secondary play. No, it held the bottom. Show me some strength in here above the volume weighted average price before I pop back in to that bad boy. So keep the symbols coming in. As I meant, yeah, we didn't even talk about the metals.
No.
Critical metals, yes. We didn't talk about silver and gold. With the market coming back, slight up move in silver. Only 1.5% and not breaking through the top. So I still think you've got 87 as a big level, lower highs put on through. This one wasn't even on the radar today because silver is more exciting when it's going into new territory, not when it's hanging out in old.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, so we're still just waiting for something to happen with Google. I'm at 94 right now. I got a couple outs here. There it is. Got a couple outs in the 80s already off this most recent reload. But as we said, trying to get a little lighter into the numbers. So we are now 2 minutes away from PCE. We'll wind up seeing what winds up happening there. Offers at 332.50 if it does go up, and then out at 331. I'm going to take another piece, actually, right here, if we can, on Google, just to get that out. Thank you so much, Randy. We decided yesterday, actually, that we really liked your tariff espresso.
The espressos were
So that was really good. We wouldn't mind.
for like the after the open kind of.
Yeah, we can grab that around this time, next time. But thank you, Randy. No, that's great. We just wasn't here yesterday, so.
Forgot to mention it.
Yeah, all good.
Oh, that halt is open back up, SPHL.
Oh, we're still waiting for the IPO, too.
Yeah, Springview just, that's instantly halted. All right, so Springview reopened and instantly halts. It's going to halt at 825. There it is, instantly halted a second time. This might be one of those stocks. Just for the record, this stock has yet to do 500,000 shares. So if you're looking at SPHL, yes, it's up 43%. No, it is not incredibly liquid at all. I wouldn't be touching with a 10-foot pole. We have less than 1 minute to go, so we're going to go to Adara. We've got happening now and PCE data coming through.
Yep.
Here's the thing, guys, in case you either forgot or were not aware, we're not just getting October PCE, we're also getting November. So 2 months worth of PCE and core PCE data coming out right now at 10 a.m. Also getting personal income and personal spending for both October and November. So PCE price index year over year forecast 2.8% for October, previous print 2.8%. PCE month over month 0.3%. Here is the previous 0.2% forecast. Core PCE year over year 2.8% forecast, and core PCE month over month 0.2% forecast. We should be getting these numbers right now, waiting for these to populate. Not currently seeing them. Just give me 2 seconds here, guys, but we are waiting on that PCE here at 10 a.m. Yeah, still not seeing anything. We're just going to wait and see what happens here. Again, though, we are expecting it for both October and November, and it looks like we have it now. So PCE year over year, 2.8%, exactly in line with estimates of 2.8%. PCE month over month, 0.2% versus 0.2% expected. Core PCE year over year, 2.79%, so slightly below estimates of 2.8%. Core PCE month over month flat compared to estimates 0.2% versus 0.2% expected. Consumer spending month over month also in line with estimates 0.5% versus 0.5% expected. But personal income month over month a little bit lower than expected at 0.3% compared to estimates of 0.4%. Let's take a look at this market to see how it's reacting to this number. Not really just pushing lower. As mentioned, pretty much all of those PCE and consumer spending prints were exactly in line with estimates. Let's talk about INTC, though, speaking of estimates, because they're reporting earnings after the bell tonight at 4 p.m. You can catch those live on our earnings show at 4. We did have Mobileye, which of course Intel is affiliated with. They reported earnings before the bell today and did not react positively. But Intel actually reporting again after the bell. Let's talk here about SNDK and MU, because these memory plays have been really strong. Pulling back quite sharply here, at least off the open. MU getting a positive analyst note here from William Blair initiating coverage on the stock. No negative news on these, but looks like just a little bit of a pullback as we get the rest of the market trying to pull back from this early strength as well. Do remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Back to you.
If you're looking for strength, look no further than Alibaba.
Yeah.
Now 5%, 6% to the upside, just broke through the highs. Just no dip buy to be had in this one. It's been all green, so you're through the pre-market top here. I'm going to do a quick jaunt over to see what it did at Blue Ocean. The overnight market gives you a fantastic opportunity to sort of see where some of the key levels might be from the prior evening. Well, that was already a breakout here. This is one of the reasons I like that 73. But we're not going to get a chance to trade off of those levels. We're pretty much gonzo, just exactly the same thing. So we're going to wait for the first pullback, maybe back into 78. Would make a little bit of sense. IBIT is not popping. Where's the bounce, baby? Where is the bounce? Give me another lower high to get in. I missed this one by sitting at VWAP, so I'm going to hang out underneath VWAP instead of at the volume weighted average price and try to jump back into this. Market looking weak. Oh, so glad that I got out of SMR, and I might have to pay for locates. So we jumped out of SMR, which was the initial breakout, loses VWAP. This is now turned into a, I'm looking short now on SMR. So false break, we got it. We're able to at least get the move, but you put in a false break through the high and then hold VWAP. This turns into a bit of a short trade. Not like a Luis small cap special, but I'm going to be shorting pops in this, adding it to the list. Got to be able to switch it up. Even if it was a long early, it ain't one now.
All right, finally, what's up to Canada? What's up to this alert right there? As Google, we just got 332.40s right there. So it turned out to be a really good out on the upside. So we'll take $1 on our last little reload. But I'm getting nervous. I mean, the market's dropping, so we are not, this is not going to be the greatest hold of all time. I mean, unless it comes all the way back up. So I'm now going to wait for that. Yeah, I hear that heart rate right there going through. We do have a decent amount of shares on board right now, but, we're going to just start to get out there. I put it offered 28s there. We just grabbed that. So now let's wait for VWAP. That's 333 flat. So I actually have an offer there. We'll see if that can come up. And then we're still going to stop out if it breaks 331 and no more reloads at all. The market's really coming in. We said that we'd like to buy potentially the TQQs on any kind of a dip into $53. That's coming in right now as well. So we're going to try to grab that at 53 flat or so, and then not give it too much more. If it does break back down below this $53 mark, then we can get out of the TQs. We're not even in it yet. As of yet, anyways. Mobileye had some earnings, I believe, MLBY.
Yeah, they reported.
And wow, only $10. Wow, pretty bad stock.
Did it break 10
there? No, it didn't. Did it break 10 yet today? No, it came close, 10.01. All right, Palantir bouncing off 165. Do we want to go back into this name? The good thing about it is we've lost about just under a third of what we've made on this Google trade, but it does come into 165 and give us that little base there. So, potentially here 165.20s or so for Palantir. Just keep on my eye on that Google trade. And then again, like CoreWeave has been a good one. I see a lot of people talking about CoreWeave, so big shout out to Handy Manic that's in there right now. And a big shout out to everybody that's part of this group, man. I mean, here we go. Here's a super chat. Dual, we can talk about that Duolingo. Let's have a quick look at that in a minute. Thank you so much for the 5 super chat, 5 memberships. So there it is, man. Dylan Gavi, thank you so much for everything you're doing there. And another new member there with Mr. P Panda again coming through. Adara, is there any news on Duolingo again? So we can have a quick look over there and ask Adara before we look it up. Go Gadget, Google, hopefully. D-U-O-L. There it is, Duolingo. Let's see about this parabolic.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing, says Adara. So there it goes, man, 148 up to 154. And this could just be a relief rally there. I mean, it's just been getting hit so bad. This name has been an absolute disaster.
If you go to the monthly chart,
go ahead.
Huge level on the monthly.
Okay, so yeah.
So maybe there is something here. Just simply bouncing off of 145, 146, some of those lows. So shout out to Duolingo. Great product. At least some people think it's good. My daughter absolutely loves it, but it's been getting absolutely woodshedded. It looks like it's a good technical level for sure. We got another super chat from Dylan. You just made 2K on SXTP. Small capper, that was on the list. I'm pretty sure that was the top name on Luis's list. On his watch list when he came on this morning. Shutting down for the day. Thank you all for what you do. Shout out to Sharif for all your insights on the small cap gappers. SXTP. I always say it slowly. It just helps me when I'm typing it in. This is it. The pre-market is where you get your entries. That's your chance to have even gotten VWAP. And what does it do after 9:30? Makes one high and already pulling back. You can be one and done. And Luis even reiterated this as well. Where some of these you got to be able to and be willing to play in the pre-market if there is enough liquidity, which it seems like on this there is enough 135 million shares worth of volume. coming back in a little bit, but 220% is nothing to sneeze at. All right, so I'm back into SMCI. The double bottom is now a triple bottom at prior day low. So first it was a 33 break and take. Second, it's the bounce off of the low. Can we even get to VWAP is the question. Like we're just sort of struggling to get the bounce into the volume weighted average price. That's how weak the market has been. So if we can grab that, we'll look for the next trade. But if we lose the triple bottom, I'm out of this. Like I'm not trying to reload this. 3 times is hopefully a charm, trying to catch this bid. The Nasdaq doesn't seem to want to help anything out here. We're still very much trending. I mean, to say we're trending down is kind of obvious, but we're pretty much back to where we were at the close. We haven't gone red yet. So there's at least somewhere we can bounce. We can hold from going into the red. We had the poll up this morning, and I voted bullish, and the bulls are still at 80%. 3,800 votes, and 80% of us were bullish. Well, you really had to pick your spots, bulls, this morning. If it was on the overall market, micro bounces you could have had, you had to be in some individually strong names. Another reason why we go through both the rundown, Tariffs notice, to kind of weed out, get the wheat from the chaff and separate them so you can find some good opportunities, because it hasn't been easy to find them in a weak market today.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, like, you know, this is why trading is so tough and why I like that idea of hitting your goals, being done for the day. So congratulations to that super chat. And there you go, man. When 85% of the chat thinks one way, that's probably a good sign that it's going the other. I'm going to take SMR breaking through 20 bucks. I'm only going to give it 10 cents if it does do this break, which it looks like it might want to do right now. And I just think it's worth the risk, SMR, if it does get going. We know the sort of, you know, firepower that this name could have underneath it. So I think it's worth it. If you get a breakthrough here on SMR, I mean, we're trying to bounce right now off some levels. So we'll see if it does wind up holding this 1980 or so. That's like 1980. 2 or 3, probably a good year, right back into there. So we'll see if we take out 20, and I'm only going to give it, I don't want to, like I'm using a little more shares here, so I don't want to give it too much. Probably just give this 10 cents, and if it blasts through and we wind up taking the hit on it, fine. I think it's well worth it there for SMR, giving it back through. And here it goes. If it does break, we're going to get our order in right now. So there we go. We're long. So let's go 1989. Like I said, if it breaks lower, we get stopped out of this one. I think it might be worth it here. We're long SMR at 201. So here we go again. We'll see if we can get some kind of a play on the upside here for SMR. And there it is, 08s. Can we get it? Yes, we can. So we'll take a couple 08s out there. We'll get an 09. So they're already 1-to-1 on SMR. So yeah, man, good trading over on this side again. We just gave you that. I know Neil's had a good trade today. And there goes Google, a couple good ones. And there goes Google finally breaking. So we did not reload this name. We're now going to focus on SMR, but Google finally breaks 331, a big, huge trade. We actually wind up making a little less than we did on Intel, but still a good trade there for us. And by the way, boom, we just gave you this one. So how you like that one, guys? There's a nice play on SMR up to 15s. This was giving us just, there it is. We'll take the 17s out. This was giving us 5, I gave you 10 cents. So we'll take 17 here, see if we can get a little bit higher. There it is. We got 19. So now, guys, I'm out of 70% of this trade for basically 2-to-1 on that last piece. So here goes SMR, a nice move to make it through those levels. Google might have bounced off 331, but we just stopped out of what we had left, man. We really emptied the clip up here around 332. So that was a really good trade. Still holding our day and our heads high. Good trading so far. SMR, my most recent one, looking pretty decently there.
Yeah, you just got into the long that worked. I guess got out of VWAP on SMCI. Might mix those two up a little bit here today. SMR traded earlier, but SMCI triple bottom. Now we're right back to that 33 test. So it gets to VWAP. That was the plan of action the entire way. I said if it's trending down, show me the holdover VWAP. I'm going to take that trade every single time. But this is now looking a little bit better. The fact that we're back into our breakout price, I just want to see the V shape. Like give me something to hold on to. Like give me a bid up here on the 15-minute for a re-entry over the prior day. The market's still bleeding to the downside. So we're able to capture, and again, I call it getting away with it, where, yeah, we pull back into prior high works, the retake of the breakout ends up working, but it's a downward trending stock. It's a fail of the pre-market high. It's then a lower high put in, and it's still downward trending. So for now, yeah, longs might be working on the stock if you can get the entries, but it is going against the grain. And if I'm going against the grain, got to be very particular about it and try to go station to station. Intel's still trending down. Nothing looking good. The only good thing about Intel is it's now setting up a trend to the downside. So I can now put this in and say, hey, look, we've got a downward trend on Intel that can get broken. So the mean reversion trade today would actually be a long on Intel instead of a short, which I was kind of expecting it to be.
Guys, if someone handed you $1.25 million to trade, would your process change or just your upside? That's the opportunity Funded Futures Network provides. They're a futures prop firm that gives traders access to large SIM and live funded accounts every day. They've already paid millions to traders around the world with fast same-day and daily payouts. And right now, evaluation accounts are 50% off. There's buy one, get one free, and no activation fees. You can find the link below or scan the QR code on your screen to check it out. Funded Futures Network. Thank you to them for sponsoring. You know what? Let's do something here. Let's go find out who made all the money yesterday. So these are the top traders we trade at Real Trading here, which is, of course, a prop firm as well. So we trade prop on this show. We trade actual contracts as far as futures are concerned. We trade actual equities there. We don't trade CFDs or anything like that. And these are, we have over 60 live markets. So I'm just going to scroll down real quick here yesterday. So yesterday, big day alert, big day alert, big day alert yesterday. So these are all US denominated funds. So yesterday there was a trader, there's over 2,000 traders worldwide here at Real Trading, trading on the same platform that Neil and I are trading with. This is $48,000. So someone made $48,000 yesterday. Great trading by that gentleman or he or she. $42,000 for this trader there. They traded both the Amex, so Amex probably SPY there or BMNR. Things like that. There's, as we always say, there's lots of tricks to the trade in this market. Canada as well, big time numbers there for Canada, yeah. Amex. So probably a bunch of SPY trades in there yesterday. I mean, again, when Trump, I told you I was mad because as soon as that came out, man, we could just punch along. Obviously, smarter traders than us did. And there it is, man, nicely cooking yesterday. It was all North American. So normally we do get some European talk here as well. These are individual offices, P&L by trader. Oh, here's P&Ls by individual markets. So someone had Blue Ocean, 2,300, the CSE, 6,700, and so on and so forth. Nasdaq, NYMEX. So there we go. Anything trade over there. Nat Gas potentially as well. Someone did some damage over there in NYMEX yesterday. So that's who's making and where the money is coming from here at Real Trading. Okay, well, Google just flew through to 330. We tried to 330. We got out at 330. So we'll lose 10 cents there or 20 cents there on that kind of a play. But I'm going to try it one more time, actually, and give it a little bit more room now because I do think that this market at some point thinks about at least coming back to the upside here. So we'll buy a little more Google down here at 330 and see if it does want to hold out. Let's give this one to 329.50, okay? I do like the trade. Not going to give back. We'll give back. Not going to give back a whole bunch here if it does not work out for us. So we'll try to buy some 330 flats or so and see if that winds up working out for us. But here we go. A little bit of a dip buy opportunity there for us on Google into 330. My stop was too frugal there. I was like literally at 330. I got 330.20s there. So it breaks by 10 cents and then goes back up. So we should still probably be in this trade. Let's just make back what we lost. If I got out right now, that's what we would do. But let's see. Let's take out one piece now. I just offered 70s. Maybe we get that. And then we'll offer again in the 90s and see if we can get something up there. Let's see if Google wants to just give us back what we just lost. They're bad out for me, breaking that 330. So let's see. We're here in Google now, offering 68s and see if we can get that. And still long on SMR, which is now higher than it's ever been for me. We get another out at 20. That's going to be a good trade. Not so much diamond hands there. What's up, Jay Bronson? He's got the dollar club going right there. We like that. So I'll find it right. Oh, I don't have it there. Oh, I'll find it for you any minute anyways. But there it is, Bronson. Thank you so much for you and all that you've contributed to this chat. I've seen you. There it is right there. He's got the dollar club. So when that happens, we hit that for you. There it is, dollar club on CRML. Bang, says Aura Alpha. You're welcome, pros. So yeah, I hope everybody was able to get that in here. There it is, Adam James again. Meta. 636 retest. So watch out there. I know that's a play that you've been talking about
for a minute. And by the way, there it goes, man. SMR. Wow, what a mover there. Neil, this was 10 cents worth of risk right here to grab 35 cents. So let's take advantage of that, offer some 34s. Ooh, we did not get out there at 34. Not bad risk to reward there on SMR.
Yeah, it's been given to you on SMR, no questions asked. And that's part of the course. You got to go to what is moving. But what I just want to point out on SMR, the potential for something special if it gets through 21. I still think that's going to be there. We'll talk about that if and when we're able to get there. Look, obviously a heavy dip, but we're starting to, at least for myself, you've now got a bit of a trend, 1, 2, 3, so a topping tail candle is going to get put in there. This could break trend over VWAP, SMCI for that reentry. It just broke out above VWAP, so we're going to look to get back into this. This also gave you another 1% move off of the lows, but I want it pressing into the top. I like to say inventory, it's Obi's term, inventory into a break instead of having the break. I don't want to be long a breakout through the highs on SMCI. I want to be long going into a potential break is going to be the play. And I still do not seem to get picked up in
this market is going lower.
In Bitcoin. Like every time it comes up to my level, the downtrend, it just puts in another lower high. So I'm not really getting the entries on IBIT. But I'm going to jump back in SMR over VWAP. Stop out is going to be this prior bar here on the 3-minute chart, as you can see. And Ja5304 just saying CRISPR is up 5%. Is there any news? I didn't see any news on CRISPR myself. I can double check for you, but it's worth keeping in mind that there's probably a few things that are up today that are just relief rallying. So there might be particular news. Darish said she'll look as well.
Nothing on CRISPR.
Yeah, there's nothing on CRISPR. There's a lot of things that are going to be up today on pure relief rally. The thing about CRISPR is this break here, look at all the resistance at $60. I just feel like this thing is squeezing if it takes that out. It was more of a technical thing why I made it my pick. I pivoted from Boeing, which I like fundamentally more, but I just think it's a technical break if this gets through 60, and then it just starts flying.
All right, so far so good on the Google retest there, and we'll take a little bit out. We're long at 04s. We just got some out there in the 30s, but here it comes right back through again on Google. So I don't know if this market's going to hold or not. I mean, we're down into some levels. I should be potentially buying the TQQs down here. It's at the level that I had said at $53. It's just I'm not. Sans any sort of a news story. We don't have any more numbers unless we do. Let me just double check. Though nothing, so nothing else today. So maybe the market. Yeah, the Elon thing, whatever. Maybe the market is safe for now, but I don't know. Let's see. We are already up 1% there today, and it's been a quite, like I said, the chat here forever defeated today, that's for sure. This was 83%, 80-20 bulls. So yeah, there hasn't really been a bullish move. I know that we've been making more. I'm positive. We're positive today, which is nice. So it's fine. But it hasn't really been too much of an extension. We're really, really lucky, man. My whole day is on Google. We've only have and SMR now, but SMR, Google, Palantir is what we've given some back on, trying to chase these longs. It looks like the 165 long is going to hold, but I say is going to hold, that's too certain, but has been holding. And I just meant if the market does continue to go backside there, this is going to have been a good long, and it's not too early or too late to take it now against that 165. I've just been, I'm sort of already long, and this had not been right. So Palantir all the way back up. And I thought this was going to be a positive day, man. Long 170 break. Phillips with an upgrade there. It's on my notes. So we'll see. Okay, here we go, Neil. Now we're starting to go on Google. What the hell? Nice move, guy. Yeah, we like that one on Google. I wasn't even prepared for that. We got some 50s. Then now we go. Now we get some 70s. Huge move up for Google. There it is, man. The bulls we ride again, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nice trade on SMR. It's a nice trade on Google as it keeps on getting to the high side right now. You're going to look at SMCI, so I'm just going to quickly look at Tesla and just have a quick look same kind of thing as the futures, trying to base out. Kind of looks like a little bit like Palantir at these lows, but this has made a move back higher. So there goes Tesla. Great trading over there. Great trading by SMR and Google. And Neil's had some great winners today. My stock, Marvell. We're still going to wait for BBAI, RVL. We're still going to wait for BBAI to get going through $6. Marvell bouncing nicely as well off 83. So we'll see if Marvell can get going. That's 2% now
in the green. All right, man, almost $1 right here on the Google reload. So far, so good. Taking some more out right there at 80. We're also waiting at 90, and we will go over to Adara. There it is, 330.90 for Google. Bang.
Let's talk about these small caps. The first one, not the smallest of market caps, but nice move here for Big Bear AI, at least later yesterday. BBAI acquiring not the entire company, but certain technologies of Cargo Seer. Cargo Seer is, I think they let you basically use AI strategies, I guess, to scan cargo or bags, as far as I could tell, of their business model, but nice look there for BBAI. Let's talk about SXTP, like all of the names today. This one has rallied in the past. It is not new to being mentioned on the show, nor is it new to being a small cap mover. 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals announcing a partnership with Runway Health to expand pre-departure access to one of its treatments. Now, it's interesting, SXTP, when I was checking this morning at like 7:45, this is already rallying before this news came out at 8 a.m. So interesting stuff there. USAR on watch as well. USA Rare Earth selecting Flour and WSP partners to advance top DFS. So lots of technical jargon here in this headline for USAR, but they are targeting heavy rare earth oxides production by late 2028. So lots of these smaller caps or meme movers to watch out for today. Back to you.
I want to give a shout out to Danny's boy for the super chat in here, talking about the silver miners. It was a strong move up. We already got AM James talking about Meta. There we go. Silver miners are running. It was a move up in SLV, but it's not really sustaining the move as well. Danny's boy, let us know. Type the symbol in. Get the $ in there. Let us know which one in particular you happen to be watching, because it's a muted move overall. It's very much an inside and boring day on silver and gold. I don't know what to tell you. Why is there even I don't even know what ZA is. Or drop down.
PLD, ZA.
Yeah.
South Africa.
I guess it's got, yeah, that makes sense. Come on, gold. Yeah, again, not really moving that much, kind of an inside day in the metals, so they haven't even been on watch for me at any point in here today. SMCI, I can't be too happy with the wick out. That being said, I was in on a retake of 33, actually just underneath it. I ended up getting like 98s. But it came all the way down, pressing almost to the low. So I'm longing it in front of VWAP. I'm not holding it a % against to try to scalp it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So it does wick me out. I will try to jump back in, because you do have this V-shaped recovery look now all the way back into the highs on SMCI. We have another super chat. This one from Mr. Meatmaster. Okay. All right. Why not? We're going to look at Heartbeam. So look, we appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Remember, always put in $. That way your symbol can get on our list. That being said, it's up 8%. I'll throw it up for you. 350,000 shares worth of volume. Pretty untradeable, not doing anything. But all I can give you is, hey, the pullback came into the 50 in prior lows, so maybe you've got some kind of a technical bounce going for you on beat. But 350,000 shares worth of volume is, that's no good, not for a small capper. So good luck in that one. It's not going to be a trading stock whatsoever. I'm assuming you're long, otherwise why put it in there?
We also got, again, we had talked about how many shares we had left on SMR, and it drops through right there. Big trade. We got out of SMR, and it just does break back in like really aggressively right there. So a bunch more outs, as Neil was talking, right into there. We did not break through the 200. We did not break through the 50. Nice downside moves right there for SMR. Still waiting. I mean, clear outs of Google again, upside at 330.80. I mean, we're long right now against 329.50. So yeah, all good. Like that's where my stop is 329.50. So good little risk reward here. We're long at 90s, and we're now up 80 cents. So not too good at all. Not too bad at all on Google. We'll wait for that. Yeah, I do see that question there. What do I think about the futures today? Yeah, I mean, it's at the level that I like. There is no doubt about that right into here. I mean, I wrote down on the note today that I did think it dipped down into 53 could be something. There's Micron 400 break, does not happen, goes the other way. Palantir 170 break does not happen, goes the other way. But here we go, man. Into 53 is sort of where I wanted to start this bidding. But maybe we're a little early. Ryan Cohen long 22 on GameStop there as well, as I bring this back over so we can have a quick look there. I'm just going to try to see if I mean, Google's been fine. Let's take another out right now. I mean, this is $1 in the money. We'll take another out here at 65s. See if we can, well, it's 80 cents in the money. We'll see if we can get a 65, and there it is. It comes through again. But yeah, looking for more names, right? We just got that silver talk there, and this was
really.
No, it's not. But I liked, yesterday I liked 86, 87 as the top. So, you know, this would be an area again that I would like. So 86 to 86.50 to 87. Wait for this thing to get a little more parabolic and then get up to this area and then look for a short. Yes, Google. Now Google officially into that club again, so we like that one. I'm tempted to take SMR one more time there, but yeah, junior silver models. We had AG was the stock that in Toronto here, I guess. Well, we can look at it in New York first. Majestic.
Pan American reported this morning, I think.
Yeah, AG was one of my guys' picks over there, Fabian. So AG, nice move to the high side right there, right now. This is a quick little update. It's still obviously early days, man. We're not even a month into this yet. But here we go. This is who's winning right now. Adara up 8% with Hearth picks. Neil and I holding, well, Neil now officially holding up the rear. Down 3%. Joe down 3%. Brendan down 3%. I'm down 2%. Ramin right here. And all of our picks. Adara here. Let's go over the top one. Adara winning right now up 8%. With Boeing, Starbucks, and the big one, Oracle. Oracle up 13%. This is a short. So that's up 13% right now. Starbucks is up 8%, and Boeing is up 5% right now. So Neil, yeah, exactly. Well, no, it says it right here. And then so it's Neil, Joe, myself. So we're just hanging around in the middle here, and some random dude named Mateo. What's up,
well,
Mateo?
that'll be easily. The thing about it is like CRISPR's literally
Uber.
up 5 today. AV.
Oh yeah.
So they're flashing around. Everything's still in the same range.
Yeah, Mateo's got Alibaba there. Mateo. No,
he loves.
Yeah, he loves Amorize. He keeps telling me about that one. That one's been a.
Every time I see the guy.
Yeah, it's because it's been a dumpster fire. Uber as well. So this guy's got two of my picks here, Uber and Alibaba. But yeah, that Amorize is another one that he likes. Just probably wanted to get attention on that name. But yeah, first silver, nice move there, Fabian. Majestic, crushing it right now. And it goes to show, man, everyone around here just much smarter than myself. All right, Google now $1. I just do this. This is my job here, day trading. You guys can see that we're clearly putting up something here today. We'll get a nice out. And look, man, we did 170% last year on this. So we'll see if it can happen again. We took a shot like you did. We took some shots. We got Big Bear AI. So we'll wait to see if that one can go. And Big Bear AI, actually with only now 30 seconds until 10:30, we get nat gas. But only 30 minutes until I'm out of here. I'm actually going to cancel the Big Bear AI trade. I was going to go long through $6 if that got going, but right now Big Bear AI just doing absolutely nothing. So we're going to pass on that, up 1% right now. Yeah, great call, Oracle. I mean, not only that, Adara's also missed about $150 of this. She told me Oracle was a complete nightmare, and that quarter was hot fire garbage. So when I was hearing about that, it ripped back up there. And then I actually was able to get out at 319 right on this day, and then it just kind of fell right down. So, you know, realistically, Adara's, should be short up here if we had that a little earlier. All right, Adara, 10 seconds, might as well throw to you.
Yeah,
you want to have the
thank you for the kind words. I just really quickly wanted to say there as well, guys, like we can talk all we want about remaining performance obligations, but if you're missing revenue 2 quarters in a row, maybe there's a problem like closer to home.
No questions asked. So that gas actually just moved a little bit there. So we'll get to that in a quick little second, but I wanted to make sure we pay attention to the fact that there are millions of concussions, yet zero, and I mean zero, approved therapies. Oragenics, and that's OGEN on NYSE, is advancing a new standard with its intranasal, brain-first approach to concussion treatment. With an $8.9 billion market on the horizon, Oragenics is positioned to drive what comes next. See what's ahead? Book a meeting today. Thank them for sponsoring this part of the show. Nat gas just dropped. In 90 minutes, we'll also get crude oil inventories. Let's go to Adara.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here, keep an eye on AppLovin. As you guys know, a couple days ago, Capital Watch with a report basically calling AppLovin the laundromat basically for the Nasdaq, accusing it of basically some Asian companies or syndicates being involved in money laundering through AppLovin. I digress. The point I'm trying to make is after releasing this report on AppLovin, Capital Watch now teasing on their website, apparently there are 3 more reports about AppLovin coming in the future. Now this follows at least 3 short reports on AppLovin from last year. So again, looks like Capital Watch, to be fair, obviously a little bit biased because they had their own short report, but they said that there's a couple more short reports that we could be expecting on APP going forward. Back to you.
Thank you there, Adara. AppLovin taking it on the chin. Not the first time. They've been piling those reports on the day after day. We did jump back into the dip buy. I said I wasn't going to take the breakout through the pre-market highs on SMCI, so it dipped into the open range bottom. Those are the only levels to work off: prior day high, volume weighted average price, and the open range resistance. So it dipped into there at the quarters, grabbed it. It's still trying to break out through the $0.50, so I think I'm going scalp mode here. One of the reasons for that, if you look at what's going on with the market, down press, one push, back into VWAP, and holding underneath. So like we're downward trending. So if we're not going to fly through the highs, I want to make sure we're being careful about the long trade, because the market's been a short. Like, let's be real. So like making money on the longs to me has been make sure you have a tight stop, make sure you try to read the room. Like this clean move into VWAP, but with the first push, could barely break out that open range high, so I had to be more aggressive getting out. I feel the same way about almost all of these longs. Like, get what you can get and don't be upset. And rest in peace, Bitcoin, IBIT. There was never anything that great about this move. It keeps on plunging every time I'm trying to get this one into VWAP. So you're now at 88,500. Bitcoin's a problem. I'm willing to bet BM&R is getting smoked here today live. I haven't checked it out. I'm just going to double. I like to go through the names to see if there's something that I don't have to chase that far to get in on the trend, like maybe even like a Mara as well. Just double checking for myself here to see how bad it is. Yeah, they're already at the lows. So yeah, the one place that you can look for weakness has certainly all morning long. I mean, the market's not great, but it's even worse if you look in crypto in.
Yeah, the spot that we're missing. Sure, like Google's an absolute beast, right? I mean, Google's an absolute monster. Yeah, you can throw it up there. There's all the names there. So if anybody's in the chat, you can go check it out from Danny's Boy. There's some of the metal names there. HYMC, I guess you're talking about. Highcroft is the only Pan American, PAAS there. So a couple names to have a quick little look at, as well as everybody's getting real excited in the chat about silver. Silver go boom right now. Meta go boom. Meta go boom up 4% right there. What's the story about Meta again there? Adara, let's bring Adara.
Positive analyst note this morning, I believe from Jefferies. Yeah, it was definitely from Jefferies, but they just maintained a buy rating, maintained a $910 price target. Interestingly enough, saying it's actually poised better than Google in certain ways, which is kind of an odd comp, but either way.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, someone needs to get out of their Meta shares, I guess. Nice dip buy by whoever upgraded them today. They obviously got long at 600. Needs a little bit of help, so they do that. This happens in the market all of the time. So watch out there as Meta keeps on climbing there today. I mean, I like Meta. It's a holding of mine. There's no doubt about that. But let's just wait to see for earnings if this is going to be a buy or not. Meta right now, nice move there. Someone wants to get out of this before earnings, so it's a nice move up. Wouldn't be surprised if we bounce again near and around that 640 to 650 area in a name that you're not going to be able to keep down. It's funny because like Google also today grabs that upgrade from Raymond James, so trying to get this name to go, but you don't need to try that hard. There goes Google right now. It is now a $1 and a $2 winner right now, so this is what's really been working for me, as Neil mentions as well. Like, keep your losses tight, right? And try to hold on to something here for a bigger win. And that's what we've been doing today with Google. And we actually, we talked about it yesterday, as Intel was one of the better stocks for me. And today, obviously, Google. I've only traded Google, Palantir, and then now look at SMR. Oh my God. We get out at the lows again for SMR, but we're not gonna cry over spilled milk here. Although we've only made about 15% on SMR what we made on Google. It was a good trade, and unfortunately we did stop out. We should have used the very low. Once we got out of like 85% of this name up here, we could have switched our stop and actually gone a little bit lower because we not exposed to that much, but we still
keep our 10-cent stop loss in there, and we just respect that. So there's our out at 332 ahead of VWAP. Honestly, man, next stop for Google, let's just see if we can get to 334 to 335. So I'm gonna put some offers here at 333.50 on the 200 period, and then again at 334.50, and see if we can just pop through right there on Google. Very, very comfortable morning so far. The market has really been paying attention to levels, and I mean, this was the biggest mistake by me because we should have been long. Normally we would be. I was just holding too many Google shares to really support 2 positions long there. So 53.15, great level coming into 53. It was where we talked about it, but just didn't have sort of the, conviction, I guess, to take Google and the futures, but we could have easily done that. So we've done it so many times before. But there goes the futures, the TQQs. Nothing but love back up to the upside. What up, Miss A?
Just be aware here, Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and many other companies, is currently speaking live at Davos. He's got a haircut. Apparently this is his first ever appearance at Davos. It's pretty subdued. Truthfully, I would not have known if he was even live if I hadn't gone on the Davos website, because I'm only starting to just now see social media accounts post about it. So very low-key and completely unexpected appearance here for Elon Musk from Davos. When I made our Davos schedule for the day yesterday, he wasn't even on there. So this is like a pretty last-minute appearance, guys. Back to you.
I was just sort of searching because I don't even have the stream up. If you have the link, can you just message me? You're on the website. Just fire it to me because I don't want to be hunting for it while we're live trading. No, it did not feel that I wanted to be in the breakout of SMCI, so we'll go again with the tight stop out, and it's been pretty good so far, like catching our spots in. The bounce off the low has been the best in terms of getting all the way back into VWAP, but what ends up happening here, I'm just going to quickly show you like why the out, even though it's coming into VWAP. Well, one thing you'll always see me say at about this time, or usually at some point after 10 o'clock, if I start to see on my 3-minute, I can go 1, 2, 3, and we got 3 points on a trend line. If I am long, I am out. If I was thinking short, I'd probably be in this reversal, but I'm getting out of any long when you break that kind of a 3-point trend line. And speaking of those, Intel just broke at the same time that I was looking at SMCI again for that continuation play. Intel just broke its trend line to set upside. So even if this dips back into VWAP, Intel looks like a long from here. It hasn't gone green yet. That would be the one concern. You haven't been able to hold red to green just yet, but the range has been, I'd say, pretty solid. I mean, it's $1 worth of range, so it's kind of like Intel trading like it usually does. I don't think that's going to last. Not with earnings coming through, not with the volatility that it's had, but you really have had to pick your spots. That's one thing that, for myself, like if you've noticed, like I'm not fighting around with anything. Like I have my entry, I've got the play. If it does not hold onto that level, forget it. If it doesn't extend and start showing me a trend, I'm not trying to re-long it. I don't mind with SMR. If anything, and I said this before, the reason you can say things like 3 for 3 or whatever, like I just don't even care. I can be up today, and I can be up on all 3 stocks I've traded today. In what world is it not an epic fail that I'm not short at IBIT right now? Who cares? Like I like Bitcoin for a short. Bitcoin's done nothing but go to the downside. So now I got to start thinking about, as the market comes back up, got to make a decision. Do we still like it at VWAP? Answer right now is going to be a yes. As long as we're not completely breaking out V-shape, I'm still going to favor this one to the south side and jump into it if we get that opportunity. But a lot of things are starting to look a little bit more constructive. I see in the chat, NVIDIA just got propped up. We haven't even looked at NVIDIA today. I'm telling you, the chip names that are, the chip names that are not NVIDIA have usually been moving more. I think you're getting a little bit of that here today. But it's a good it's a good consolidation. Anytime you're consolidating off of highs, I consider that to be bullish, but I'm pretty sure I said yesterday we wanted 187 to go. Yeah, you need to break back above 187, and even then on NVIDIA, look at the chop and problem you've got with 190 to 191 on the daily chart. There's just somebody is selling every time it gets to 190 bucks. There's not much you can do about this. And as I say that, I want to show you another chart which is similar, completely unrelated. Rigetti. Sellers $26 to $26.50 for 2 weeks in a row now. You won't find many charts that look like this. all I know is when Rigetti breaks 27, that's just going to be a long. It's that simple. You do not consolidate this long. If it breaks, I'm taking it. It's not going to be today. But I see a lot of that happening in NVIDIA in the 190, 191 level. It gets more exciting if it breaks through somewhere new. That's what made SMCI look good today. Let's go back over to Adara, see if we have an update from Elon.
Really odd convo here with Elon Musk and Larry Fink. Interesting convo, and certainly I think probably above my pay grade in a lot of levels, but if you're interested in robotics, absolutely give this a listen. Basically, Elon Musk is just being asked by Larry Fink, if you think that robots are going to outnumber humans, which Elon does, then at what point does human purpose cease to exist? So very existential for 10:30 in the morning, but certainly worth a listen if you are interested in that type of thing. Let's talk here about this sector map, which is pretty green, though there are some notable exceptions. Utilities is weak here, producer manufacturing struggling, energy minerals a little bit to the downside, and retail trade with the exception of Amazon and CVNA Carvana up like 4%. Retail trade, though, generally a little bit weaker, light red from Costco, TJX, and WMT or Walmart. Let's move on to what's really strong because tech services leading the way here. AppLovin and Netflix once again lagging in this sector. AppLovin's had a really rough week with Capital Watch, which issued a short report on AppLovin a couple days ago, teasing there are 3 more reports on app that we should be expecting soon. That being said, Oracle, Palantir, Microsoft, Google, and Meta all really strong, with Meta and Google getting positive analyst notes this morning. Electronic technology has some strength here. Arista Networks up 10%, Apple and NVIDIA strong, but GE to the downside here on earnings day one. They're trading near day lows. Health technology generally strong with the exception of its earnings play here, Abbott Labs. Consumer non-durables, though, being held up by PG on earnings. Consumer services also strong. So generally lots of strength, though this is the point in earnings season where you start to see these earnings plays impacting the sectors a little bit or making their mark. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. And Elon talking about Optimus and how it'll be important for elder care.
I hope he's optimistic.
He better be. But look, there's not enough, not enough young people to take care of old people in the world. Yeah. That is 100% true. Who knows how far away we are from this? I mean, he's certainly obviously set some aggressive targets for 2027 for Optimus. We'll see if the rollout happens, but there's material shortages. There's all kinds of issues in production. It's not going to be easy, but he's done it before. Tesla's not moving a heck of a lot. It's holding VWAP. Still no breakout of the highs on Tesla. Looking a little bit better. I want to say marginally better than it was earlier. Since he started talking, it's moved like a couple of dollars. So with the market coming back in, retest in IBIT for this 90K level, which will be about the volume weighted average price. I'm watching IBIT here, but I can quickly show you we're at 88.99. So we're 89,000. We'll be just above 89,000 on Bitcoin if we get into VWAP. I'm just looking for the lower highs to continue on through. As long as it holds on to this trend, we go for the short on IBIT, which has been weak into a now strong market. Market's bullish now, but we are still down from the open. I know we're up 0.7, but we're still down from the open technically.
Yeah, the interesting there. More robots than humans. That should be interesting. Yeah, so missed trade of the day for me is 53.15s coming in right there. We should have had that TQ trade as it's trying to blast a little bit higher. And we're just going to look for some more opportunities at some point. Yo, what's up, Jay Benson? Jay Bronson again there. Another Dollar Club winner. I like that one. And then here it is. This is from Pops Mafia. Green tea right here. We say shout out to that. Put a little bit of honey. Into some green tea. Yeah, Elon Musk at Davos. A number of robots produced will saturate all human needs. That's what it is. Believes there will be, wow, here we go, billions of humanoid robots. So yeah, outpacing the human number, I guess. All right, so Tesla, and again, Apple was talking about having that little pin type of thing on their lapel. Like, I guess the robots don't all have to be Optimuses running around. There could be some other kind of means, I guess. That only means great things for a Palantir, means great things for a Big Bear AI, so on and so forth, and any of the robotic names. ARK Q, is that the one? Yeah, that's robotic. So oops, that's an AM. I'm in this name as well. So this is for me, this has AVAV, it has Rich Tech, it has Tesla, it has all all the big ones, and it's just stuck on blue ocean. But this has had a nice move higher as well from its 50-period moving average, as you can see down here right now. Oh man, my mouse again. This is just so brutal. 115, nice upside into 135, 130, looking to hold. ARKQ today. Adara's got something else from Davos?
Yeah, I just have here with Elon Musk. He's mentioning AI right now, so maybe keep an eye on these AI names, basically saying that the cost of AI is changing meaningfully constantly. I get Larry Fink just talking to him about the implications of a lot of what he's saying here with regards to compute being required for this and his view that robots will at some point outnumber humans. Back to you.
Okay. Bold from Elon.
Well, that's what he is, a bold guy with big comments and big dreams. And I think it is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. It might not happen in our life.
No, it's like when the president says that the stock market's going to double. I'm like, well, yeah, it always does eventually.
Yeah.
It's an easy statement to say. If you could let us know, that'd be great, Donald. And just give us a bit of a timeline, and then we'll believe you. You've certainly been right about Intel all along. No questions asked. Buying at 19, or I think they got it at about $19. Going into their earnings. So here comes a dip potentially into VWAP here for that Intel. So there's your trend break. Looks like we could potentially dip in. If we don't dip here, you still have a potential breakout. So we closed at 54.25. Like you could consolidate here and then break out the prior high. But I think you're going into the dip buy on Intel. And just to show you, it's just a line in a chart. We come into VWAP and do not hold the volume weighted average price on IBIT. So see, I'm not in. To me, an entry is it gets to the level you're looking for, shows me what I want to see, which is weakness, and then you short it. Not just it gets back into the line on the chart. If you just short it because it's at a line in the chart, well, the market doesn't see that line. It sees buyers and sellers. So if there are no sellers in there starting to win, then I'm not taking the trade. Now I wait for 50.80. Just a matter of patience for sure. And a couple of chip names that we haven't gone over, and we're paying attention to the chat. ARM is strong and has been, and obviously has been a beleaguered stock. There's something about this move that you got to keep in mind. Up 5 points today. Remember, Apple got a bit of a bump. They're going to move when there's bullishness in handsets. So when Apple looks a little bit stronger, when people are talking positively about mobile devices, that's going to be a boost in there for ARM. Notice how weak it's been while Apple's been weak. And notice how it catches a bid when Apple catches a bit of a bid. So I think that's at least part and parcel what's going on with ARM, up another 5 points today. It doesn't break 100, so woe is me on the dip buy.
Yeah, ARM was a good trade there. We can go over some of the earnings plays today. I just see someone there talking about General Electric. I mean, down 6.4% into today. I'm just going to double check our watch list and see what exactly we talked about here on our watch. Actually, you know what? I'm going to check Sharif's morning note for GE into here. So we can definitely have a quick little look. There's BitGo's IPO. Here's GameStop notes. Again, here's Coupang coming in, P&G as well. Here's GE Aerospace. So adjusted Q4 earnings of $1.54, beating $1.43. Revenue came in upside as well, 90% year-over-year growth. So what the heck's the problem here? Fundamental driven is not a short-term earnings pop. Strong growth, backlog guidance, reinforced long-term bull case. So that's good. 318, 319, 314. So here it is. GE Aerospace guides 710 to 740, midpoint 725, which is above 712. So yeah, as I read through all of these notes right now, I'm not actually finding too many problems here with GE, and you could see today GE Aerospace getting hit pretty darn good, down that 7%. So yeah, man, like I keep saying, man, someone smarter than me must know something, because there goes GE straight to the downside into 298. And you want to talk about a stock where you're going to get some value on if you like the aerospace spot of things. This goes all the way back to September now. So you're back to where someone like JP Morgan and some of these other stocks were as well. All right, D-Dog said that he thinks the revenue guidance was weak. So I don't know. I'm seeing here on the guide, could have been the revenue guidance, but I just see the outlook forward guided FY 2026 EPS. So maybe the revenue, yeah, we don't have the revenue number on here. So that could have been part of the oh yeah, adjusted revenue climbed
21%, but that's not moving forward. So okay, so that's potentially wise. So a good little look there, but an absolutely insane chart, man. This is from 150, 160 to 330. It puts a double on its head, and now it's just coming back in a little bit. A little bit more work needed for me on this one, but yeah, GE Aerospace down 6%, 7% today, and might be worth something down there. Oh yeah, solar satellites soon, by the way. Elon Musk talking about now solar satellites being launched into the air, so into the sky. So that should be an easy way to garner power when you're up there. So let's see if that continues to work. FSLR, just heard some news in my ear as well, and everybody in the chat
Enphase was already
sort of chanting about FSLR now. Nice move higher. Yeah, Enphase was up good yesterday and today, I believe.
9% for Enphase. I don't know what's
FSLR, nothing.
FSLR is up 1%.
Yeah, it's not doing its straight chilling right now.
Enphase crushing right now, up 9% versus that First Solar. I believe we are going back to Adara. We have 9 minutes to go. It's almost 11 o'clock. Adara, what do you have for us?
I'll be quick here, guys. Elon Musk still talking, saying that his companies, I believe, SpaceX and Tesla, though, as mentioned earlier, he has quite a few. Looks like some of them are actually trying to build large-scale solar. So solar continues to be on watch here in Elon's speech. Let's talk about this economic data today. We had a lot of excitement for it, but not really a lot of follow-through in terms of the numbers being super out of what we were expecting. GDP, though, that being said, 4.4% for Q3 2025, above estimates of 4.3%. Initial jobless claims coming in a little bit better than expected, or lower than expected anyway, 200,000 versus 209,000 expected, though that number is still a little bit above the previous print of 198K. GDP price index in line with estimates, 3.8%. And then we get these PCE prints, all of which were exactly in line with estimates. PCE year over year and month over month, core and non-core for October and November. So the Fed's preferred inflation gauge giving us exactly what analysts were expecting. That's PCE year over year at 2.8%. PCE month over month at 0.2%, core PCE year over year at 2.8%, and core PCE month over month at 0.2%. Personal income a little bit lower than expected here, 0.3% versus 0.4% expected. But other than that, pretty ho-hum round of 10 a.m. economic data. Now, in terms of this U.S. dollar, we are coming in here into that prior level of support going back to Tuesday at 98.2. Let's see what happens if we hit it right now, trading around 98.45. We're going to send you back over to Sean and Neil for the final minutes of our morning trading show.
Thank you, Dara. Just to explain Enphase being up 9% when you don't see much else in the space, Citigroup upgrades Enphase Energy to neutral, raising the price target to $37, which you might notice is not significantly, but lower than where it is. So they were never that bullish on it, but raising, that's all. Today was a wath, an absolute wath of upgrades on the list. So there's a lot of bullishness going in by the analysts. Down Sky, thank you for the $5 super chat. RSG looks like a nice setup on the hourly. It's a safer stock in general. So if you're going on the higher time frame, then I will join you on the higher time frame, because when you're day trading, we care about things like the 3-minute. On the monthly, it's solid on the monthly, although still kind of in that pullback range. What about the weekly here for you? We'll just jump in. I like to go top down. Yeah, on the weekly chart, absolutely. You close this bar without even drawing a trend line. You can see if we close up here this week, we're breaking and challenging this downward trend already with a higher low. So boom, higher low, and then potential trend break on the weekly RSG. That does actually look pretty good as well on that weekly time frame. So remember, if your time frame for entry is on a weekly chart, then your time frame for the swing trade should be on that as well. So you got to have patience with those plays. We have another one, Nick Dub, thank you for super chat. CRISPR, your best trade of the month, 3.5. Love swing long look. I agree with you. That's why we made it the pick. Continued move on in alt. Sean, like Uber, Airbnb, and ILMN for 2026. I haven't looked at Airbnb.
I don't love Airbnb, but we can have a look at that for sure.
Using a lot of Verbo. I don't know. I haven't. For the first time, we're not using Airbnb anymore when we go to Florida. The last couple of years, we're booking with Verbo. Okay. I think we're going back to Adara at the desk.
Now we're getting tons of Tesla talk from Elon here during his conversation with Larry Fink at Davos, saying that robotaxi service will be, quote, very, very widespread by the end of this year within the U.S. He also said, as I mentioned earlier, talking about SpaceX and Tesla building up this solar power, but he also said Tesla will be selling Optimus to the public by the end of next year, so teasing out when Optimus is going to be sold. He's talking about robotaxi. He's also saying that the time frame for self-driving approval in China likely to be similar to that of Europe. So lots to talk about here today from Elon. I'll keep listening to that. Back to Neil and Sean.
That's a good point.
Yeah, here's Airbnb. I mean, Airbnb is starting to, I don't know, it looks better than I thought for sure. I thought we were still down here, but we're not. So Airbnb, yeah, looking pretty good, man. I mean, I think you want to take out this 145. That looks pretty obvious. You know, nice hold of the 50 period and the 200 period moving average. You get a little bit of a cross there, the death cross moving higher there on Airbnb. So yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a good look. All right, man, what's for lunch today? Okay,
Well,
Shreve asking already what flag it is. All right, so you see, this is what I'm saying. Like, we're adding so much more depth to this segment. Japanese flag today. So that's pretty good. We've had some beef bulgogi before. We've had some different things. The last time we had something that was Japanese, it was teriyaki tilapia. So that ended my run of tilapia.
That was the.
So I am no longer.
Straw that broke the camel's back.
I am. Well, yeah, mine was sashimi tilapia, so that's not cool there. So I will no longer be having tilapia because that request has been made. But Neil, my friend, today's lunch is once again teriyaki tilapia. So Neil, let us know how you enjoy that. It comes with vegetable pilaf, steamed vegetables, and chef's choice salad. An epic fail today on the teriyaki tilapia, but we can't, you know, beggars can't be choosers, but that's what's for lunch.
If you get a catered lunch, you can't hate that much.
Yeah, this is going to be great. So hopefully it is a great experience for many of you. And I mean, tilapia has been, I've actually had in mind, I haven't minded it here. It's been the worst of all the proteins I feel like we get. It hasn't been horrible, but my last experience on this teriyaki experience was a very negative one. So I am out of the game now for tilapia. All right, so that's what's for lunch. I hope you guys enjoy your lunch. I sort of knew today when Elon Musk was going to be talking, there wasn't going to be really anything negative that he was going to say. We talked about, you know, Ryan Cohen with GameStop buying up his own shares today. We sort of thought that there would for sure be some kind of a talk about robotics. I mean, we literally, if you just rewind it to 8:30 or 8 o'clock, we live every day at 8 o'clock, by the way. We had mentioned, you know, what was potentially going to be talked about. I don't think it's rocket science to talk like that. And there goes Tesla, man, up 1.4%. Does come right into these levels again. We talked about yesterday's closing prints. I didn't have a bid down here, nor was it on the note today, but that's yesterday's closing prices is where we bounced off today. So let's just keep that in mind, man. All you can really do is put these little tidbits in your mind so you can trade it tomorrow. Yeah, guys, I know Palantir. Palantir is the only stock that we wound up losing on today, obviously, but we're 2 for 3. Google, Palantir, SMR, and we'll have a bigger day now than I had yesterday at this time. We'll see position pending with this Google trade, still $1. But yeah, Palantir, I'm buying this name. If this comes back into 165, I'm going to buy it. So that's a trade to look out for during the midday show. 165 long on Palantir, just giving it 50 cents or so with a heartbeat there, and then giving the Nasdaq a heartbeat as well if we come back into 53 again. So let's just see if the market does something like this this afternoon, and if it, or on the midday, and if it does, we'll be sitting there to try to catch the bottom part of this, not the middle, not the tops. We're just going to try to catch if there is a little bit of a push back in on these stocks. We'll be sitting there to see if we can buy some of the dips. Okay, I don't want to break out longs on anything. I don't think there's enough news. But again, Trump, I think we heard that he took the plane back, right? He's left Davos. I think that's what.
Yeah, he had to drive out.
Yeah,
but he got on the Air Force One, so he's out of the building.
Yeah. Unless
he's going to do something from Air Force One.
I think Mark Carney did make a deal with China for tilapia. That might be part of what it is, right there. So yeah, there might be some tilapia tariffs happening around this place.
He's talking about cozying up. That was one of the things he said in his speech. It's like looking for alternatives. We saw how that went yesterday in terms of a response. But we'll see how it goes. Look, it's almost on the clock.
They're low-key going to announce a deal very, very soon, Canada, U.S.
No, I've been thinking we would announce a deal for a while now, but ultimately, there's obviously been other priorities that had to happen. And now that the Greenland thing is through, I think you could at least come next. SMR off VWAP is going to be the next play. Intel potentially for a trend break. We're already scalped in here on SMR, but Intel's not getting to VWAP on this dip. Intel now making some higher lows, still thinking it can press into VWAP for a dip buy. They are reporting after the bell tonight. Intel will be sticking around for sure to bring you those Intel earnings. Good, bad, up, down, doesn't really matter what they do. We're going to cover it for you in the new format. So make sure you enjoy the midday. Thank you for another super chat. We got one just at the end. I'm going to throw it up very quickly because I don't want us to miss this.
Yeah,
here.
let's do it.
It's from WCM. Good tunes. GameStop looks prime for a big move. Ryan Cohen certainly thinks so. You can find that on both the notes, both streets note for all the members out there. You can find that there. It's breaking out on long-term resistance. Think it moves in dollars. When it does move, I agree with you, it moves in dollars. 5 points today on GME. It hasn't yet taken out this level on the daily, but once you're through 23.5, 24, suddenly the short sellers, let's just say they want to wear the brown pants when it gets through 24. We'll leave it at that. We got Sharif, we got Obi filling in for Joe as